We are
Ooh.
good. We are good.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all just ignoring me? Okay.
Were you saying
No,
things
what
to
you
us?
say?
Were you?
I said what's OBS?
Oh, OBS. That's the. It's my streaming software that I'm using.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's like it's the most convenient one. Like you can use Elgato or whatever, but the most convenient one is OBS. User friendly.
Cool, 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 cool.
I think that's fine. Okay, we will give you a second, Mama. Figure your thingy. There we go. You don't know nothing about that.
What happened?
I was dancing yesterday on a live stream. I was trying to learn
Like
this. I was learning a choreography that because I haven't learned none in a while. I can't hear you.
what dance?
It is called the Vibe Challenge. It is I might have to send it in my Discord, or it might be in my Discord. Matter of fact, I'll just send it in the group chat. There it is. It was actually a lot of fun to do. Cause like I hadn't done it in a while, and then like trying to dance and do footwork on carpet, I forgot how hard that was. Like I could not get my feet to slide at all. Hey, hey, M, welcome, welcome. We're just letting them set up stuff on their end, and when they're ready to go, we will be ready to go.
Yes. I figured it out even better now.
Dude,
Okay.
are we muted on your end? Nope.
Let me see if you aren't looking.
Is that not a good question, Candace? Is that not the embodiment of hustle culture?
It is.
Is it okay? Because I was like, I just wanted to make sure I had the title right. Because I feel like with hustle culture, it just kind of ties back to the whole, thing of don't nobody want to work anymore, kind of thing. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it could have went there, but I was just like, I don't really think that's where we're going. I think when we talk about that topic, that's going to be specific to that, like income shaming. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Um,
I kind of thought that this was going to encompass that. Am I wrong for thinking that? Because I thought that this was like hustle culture was directly tied with people thinking that everybody has to, work, and the fact that there's less job opportunity because there's so many people who have one and two jobs, you know. Like I think that this directly ties into this if unless I'm mistaken. Like I thought that we were going to talk about that. That's kind of why I put the
I mean, I think
working
that we
8
can,
hours a
I
week in
think
there.
that we can touch base on that, but I think that specifically is its own topic. I think that um that kind of is income shaming. You know what I mean? That's its own topic. That's income shaming. I think goes into what I've been seeing a lot of. You know, gosh, if I see one more damn post about you ain't making six figures, you ain't living right.
But that's
You know
not
what I
that's
mean?
not what I'm talking about. Income shaming is a different thing. I think it's because when I'm saying like nobody wants to work anymore, it's coming from like a political landscape where like Fox News and right wingers are like, "Oh, these lazy millennials and lazy Gen Zers, they only want to go have one job and not three." And like that's the angle that I'm looking at when I say that, but I'm not
So
saying it in the angle of like income shaming where it's like, oh, if you want to be my man, you got to make at least six figures. Those are two definitely like very separate
okay, so I
conversations
guess
that
it
I'm
would be
thinking of.
based off of what hustle culture means to each one of us,
True,
from who
true.
we are and
Hey Nessa,
and our
hello.
generation. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, when I think, okay, so first of all, thanks. Each one of us have our own show. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tasha Neal Harris. And I'm from the Tasha Neal Show. And we have my lovely, beautiful cousin.
Hi, I'm Candace. Candy Rain Productions.
And of course, my big headed, handsome son.
Hey.
Just,
Hey,
hey.
what you mean? Come on now. What are you doing over here on my side of the where I'm walking
you
at?
at?
You can find me on G's Day Day on YouTube, and my feedback is actually still coming through on your thing. I don't know if that's a
I
me
don't
thing.
know why because my volume's turned down, so I don't know why.
That's weird. Like I'm hearing it play back in my head. Am I?
Yeah,
I'm
I
muted
have
on
no
this
idea
end.
because my
What
volume is
about here?
my volume is down, so I'm not sure why.
Yeah, cause I actually can't hear myself because I'm talking in my own head. Okay, wait, it just stopped. What'd you do?
I did nothing.
You did nothing,
I did nothing.
but it just stopped.
Yeah, say I
Huh.
won't stop, can't stop.
Okay.
Um,
Well, you can find me at
so
G's Daddy on YouTube, and I am Daquan. Hello, hello. Oh no, there it is. It's back.
Is it
I'm
me?
not sure why.
Oh, well, let me see. It could be. That's weird because I only hear it pop up. Okay, right now I'm not hearing it, and your mic
Hello,
is
when I'm
muted.
talking, can you hear now?
I can hear you, but Candy's mic is muted, and I'm not hearing it. Okay, yeah, I think it is Candace's. Okay, I'm talking. No, nothing. Okay, that's weird. Nope, there it goes. It's weird. It only pops up. Yeah, like it pops up when I'm at a certain volume. Hold on.
Okay, so when we talk about hustle culture, um, I want to say with hustle culture with me, I want to kind of dissect um, what pros and cons of hustle culture, like trying to balance life and hustling. And then there's this old saying that you can't. I kind of hate this saying. They say if you're a master of many. I mean, if you're a jack of all trades, you can't be a master of none. And it was almost like a ridicule of people who had multiple hustles, which is weird to me because they say as millionaires you need 7 streams of income to become a millionaire. So I'm not quite sure how they can say, and everybody that you know is a millionaire from multiple hustles. Rihanna has multiple hustles, Jay-Z has multiple hustles, Beyonce, everybody that you know who's a multimillionaire has multiple hustles. So I'm not quite sure why they came up with this kind of degrading and downplaying of people who have multiple hustles. um, I see that there's good in multiple hustles and then there's bad in multiple hustles. And so that's kind of where I want to dissect. Candace, what were you thinking about when you think about hustle culture?
When when I think of hustle culture, I think of just the first thing that comes to my mind is like exhaustion. And the idea, kind of like what we were just talking about, but like it may not be, it's what comes to
It
my
says
mind.
about the lyric
The
for it
idea
around
and the
8 because I'll be cooking.
pressure
Oh, okay, no worries, Nessa.
to
Hey, Jisoo,
which I think
hello.
is kind
Welcome,
of
welcome.
opposite of where we will want to go, maybe. I don't know. But it's really aligning your work with your worth, which is something that, like you said, like it's something that we tell each other not to do, but then there's this culture that really, aligns them very, very closely. And so I think of people who feel this pressure to keep up with
Mm,
other people but doing it because they want to feel valued.
mm,
But also the other side, I believe, like that keeps hustle culture alive is just the idea that, you have to work to survive. And so because prices, everything is going up, I feel like you have to work more, you have to work harder and to build the life that you want, because I think that the lives that we want have also grown. And so the things that we want are now more expensive, it takes longer to get, or you need more resources. And so that just fuels the hustle culture even more, because it's like now getting a house at 40, nah. Getting a house at 30, no, I need to get a house at 20. I need a house at 25. You know what I'm saying? I need to be a millionaire with, all these other young people like who can get online and make millions of dollars in their 20s, or in their even younger than that. I feel like that fuels the hustle culture. So now it's like, dang, I really need to get out there and get on my grind because I'm not doing enough. When really that's not the case.
Damn, I never thought about that. I never thought about your generation, the hustle culture with your generation. You guys feel this extra pressure because of social media, ushering all of these. Do you want to be a millionaire? You want to know how I make this and this and this? And you're watching videos on YouTube, and all you see are Facebook, and it's, look at how I made 6 figures. Look at how I made this. So the hustle culture is worse with your generation because of social media. I never really thought about that. Now you guys have this stress and this anxiety to, I gotta grind because I gotta get.
You only
that,
hear the
I gotta
feedback
get
when Mama
this,
talk.
what you see
I
on
think what's
social
happening
media,
is
which the
that
topic that we're gonna
Candace
talk
doesn't
about
have
too,
headphones,
how social media
and I think
makes
her
what the
stuff is
desired
playing
life
out of her
these
monitor
people
and is going
probably
back
don't
into
even
her
have or may
mic,
not be
and is
happy
causing
with.
a feedback loop.
So Daquan, what do you want to unpack when it comes to hustle culture?
So real quick, Candace, I think I know what's happened. I think it's because you don't have headphones on. Is your volume playing out of your monitor or whatever you're
Yeah.
watching us on? So it's going back into your mic and it's causing a feedback loop. That's what's happening.
Time I think I did have headphones.
Yeah, yep. I think that's exactly what's happening. Yep. I was looking and thank you, Jisoo, for well, who's that actually pointed out?
Hey, Taye. Hi, Gary.
Nessa.
Hi,
Oh, Nessa.
Angel.
Yeah, Nessa pointed out
Hey,
that she
Angel,
only
I'm
heard it when
glad
you
to
talk.
see you here
Okay,
when we're
yeah.
talking
So
about hustlers, because
I
I know
think that's it.
you're a hustler, and Taye, you too. Gary, good to see you. Um,
But
Taye, she's a hustler extraordinaire. She's always hustling. And Taye, how do you feel? Do you feel pressure from? Why do you hustle so much? Because you have you've got this business, you got a regular job. What do you hustle so hard for? Angel, you too, because I know you do a ton of things too. You're like real business savvy. What do you say that you hustle for? What do you grind so hard for? Gary, you as well. And thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. So Daquan, when you think hustle culture, what do you think?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that come to mind when we talk about hustle culture. I think hustle culture is not new. I don't think it's a new phenomenon by any measure, by any means. I think it was normalized like during the industrial, kind of era, the kind of time where they were bringing in foreign people to kind of just use and abuse them in factories, and didn't have to pay them any benefits, and it kind of normalized this predatory capitalism where we took people, put them in a
That
place,
part.
and took advantage of them and paid them whatever we felt like paying them, because at the end of the day it was like we either get paid this or we get paid nothing. So it kind of put corporations in a position where they could do that. So when I think hustle culture, I think it is us embracing that predatory behavior of corporations, the predatory nature of capitalism. I think it is us embracing that and accepting it, and not only accepting it, but kind of shaming other people for not embracing being taken advantage of. So it's
Mm.
like, so when I hear people, I see it all the time. You brag on social media. I just worked 90 hours this week. Get your money up. My nigga,
Yes,
no.
I see that all the
No,
time.
matter of fact, no. Listen, if it meant that I would stay a little right here close to impoverished, but I was able to visit my family, I was able to feed myself, take care of my people, just be able to get by, I would much rather do that and only work 35, 40 hours a week than work twice as much and never get to see my family, never get to have no free time, never get to sleep, never get to eat. Oh, I'm sleeping at work. I would much rather that and actually have a life. You know what I mean? And people do it right, they have this hustle culture expectation because hustle culture is built on a lie that tells you if you work hard enough, it'll pay off in the end. And you'll get to retire and you'll have all these benefits and you'll have
After you
millions of
slaved,
dollars.
after you
Yes.
slaved your whole life.
So it's the
That a lie?
lie. Yes. Yes. It's the same kind of lie that Hollywood will
does.
tell you, right? It's the same kind of lie that Hollywood will tell you, right? Because they'll tell you about the success story that was sleeping in their car and going to all them auditions, and they was busting their tail and they was waitressing tables and they didn't have a place to stay, but they was going and they was going. Then they finally got their big break. But they don't tell you about the other 100 people that went to that audition that didn't get the job and had to go home
But it,
and had to move back and is still living in a car and never made it. So it's built on a lie. It's built on a lie that tells you you might, but you probably won't.
but
You
is
know?
it a lie though?
Yes. I believe that if it's not a truth, because you can't. To me, it's like cherry picking. You can be like, oh yeah, one person made it, which means if somebody says you can make it because that person made it, I feel like you're lying because you're misleading me. You're intentionally misleading me so you can take advantage of me so I can keep working for you on the premise that if I work hard enough, I'll get enough promotions and then eventually I'll be the CEO one day. No, I won't. No, I won't. You know what I mean?
But that's
Well,
not.
well,
But why? I guess, and to hate to keep pulling on this, but you say it's a lie, but it's something that's actually happened though.
I say
Like
I say it's a
I
lie
think
because it's misleading. I don't when I say it's a lie, I only say it because it is it's not necessarily a full just straight blatant lie, but it is and it's misleading and I
you
believe
think
it
it's
is
like
intentionally misleading.
unrealistic.
Not
you
necessarily
guys hear me?
unrealistic because I
Angel,
think that I can hear you, Ma. Yeah.
Gary,
Um
Tiffany.
I think that it's
Can you
just
guys
a
hear
thing
me?
to where it's like people can take advantage of
You can say
people
yes if you can hear me.
and you do
I
it
want to make
under
sure.
this hope, right? People have because people
Yeah,
naturally have hope. Like if I do
yeah,
work hard, I can achieve my dreams. And I don't feel like that's not a lie. But I do feel like there is a line where you feel like there is no line of how much work you can put in. You just feel like the more work the better, and that's not true. And so that's why I feel
yes,
like it's a lie because I
yeah.
feel like it's teaching you and telling you work more, work harder, work faster, do better, do more work. And when you're not working, you better be working. And when you're sleeping, you better be thinking about working. And when you're not working and when you're not sleeping, you better be eating while you're working. And so it's like, you can't ever
And you do that to consume.
yeah. And the crazy part
Yeah.
about it is we talked about this. We're all people who suffer from anxiety when we're not working. So
I
who
agree.
are, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Agree with
Like,
that.
who are we to talk about the idea of if we work hard enough? No, we're suffering from being internally too strict on ourselves, and we can't let ourselves rest and find peace because we're too busy. Like, man, I ain't do enough taxes this morning. I better do my taxes. Then I need to do my son's taxes. I need to do my taxes again. I need to do my taxes for next year and do them, and then I have to be ready for the year after that. Like, we don't really give our mom's doing better with this because we talk about it a lot, but it's ingrained in
No,
us.
I'm not.
Like you are
Yeah.
doing better. You are doing better. We talked
No,
about
I'm
it. You're
not.
doing better. And if you're not doing better, you better start telling yourself you're doing better, because that's part of the reason why we're not doing better. Because
Exactly.
you're not being you're not giving
gotta
yourself the
believe
pot.
it.
Yeah, you gotta believe it first. You ain't gonna do it if you don't believe
No,
it.
no. My hustle culture, I'm so bad. Like, seriously, I need hustle rehab. Like, I got issues. Like, like,
Hustle
literally,
culture is
I
basically like
find
doing anything
myself
necessary to
being
yeah
in a
to make
bad
money. That's
mood
very
and
true,
tired,
Nessa.
feeling like there's not
American culture
enough
studying
time
is
in
so
a day.
important.
Like,
6
I
a.m.
don't have
sometimes
enough
11:30
time in
p.m.
my
We're still studying. We also
lifetime
have study groups after.
because I
Yeah, I
always
know,
feel like
Jisoo.
I
Like
need to
hustle culture's
hustle.
really
Like,
big.
my hustle is
In
bad.
foreign countries
But
like
you have to
India,
think about it.
Japan,
I've been
Korea.
hustling since I was 16. That's all I know. I'm bred to hustle. So, and it's worse for me. I literally said that I'm spoiled because Candace, and I wanted to talk to you about this too. I don't know how to, I don't know. The businesses that we own and we operate, I've been doing stuff like that since 17. And so I don't know how to not hustle, because if I don't hustle, I don't eat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a 9 to 5. So I have no choice but to hustle constantly. And that's why I say owning businesses is not for everybody. And I want to have a whole show on that. Like, because people praise people who are entrepreneurs, which I do believe in entrepreneurship, because I believe that you can actually break through six figures easier. You know what I mean? It's an easier hustle, but it's a harder hustle too. You know what I mean? Like owning your own business, you're everything. You're the marketing department, which I just told y'all, I freaking hate marketing. It's the taxes. I mean, it's everything. It's the billing. We are everything. There's no break. I go to bed with tablets of paper. I'm always hustling. Now, am I always hustling to try to get things? No, my hustle is different because my hustles are dreams, right? So I think it's a little different because the hustles that I want to do are hustles that I have passion in and that I love. And I think that that's what makes it a little bit different for me when it comes to my hustle. Because even the car dealership, I love driving cars. I like working on cars. I like looking at cars. I like cars. You know, the houses, I loved houses. Before that, it was, you know, doing parties. I love doing parties. You know what I mean? So we bred dogs. I love dogs. You know, so everything that we've done, every hustle that we've had, has been something that I love to do. But I need to go to some type of therapy because I got hustleitis. Like,
So why does you said that makes your hustle different because it's dreams? Why?
because it's what?
You said your hustle is different for you because it's something that you're passionate about and you hustle dreams. Why is that different?
I think when you hustle, okay, so I know a lot of people who talk about hustling and they hustle for money. And I hustle for money too. But a lot of times when I hustle, like literally, I'm about to make a post about feminine energy, which Candace, you know about feminine energy. Feminine energy is a program that I
You keep that
created,
away from
and
me.
Candace and I are going to do, which we take women and we pull out the feminine inner she that is inside of you. So through dance, through movement, through photo captures, and I'm going to do a Valentine's Day special. So where I'm going to do, you know, pictures for women, pull out that sexy, that sensual in you because we forget it because we're hustles. So we forget how to be beautiful because we hustle. So we're like, yeah. So you know we're going to pull that back out of you to remember sexy, to remember sensual. And so that's these things that I'm doing that I'm passionate about. I feel like it's different because I know a lot of people who just do things. Does that make sense? They just do
But that
anything to make
yes.
money. And I'm
So
hoping that what I love makes me money. Does that make sense? I can't hustle if I don't like it. I will somebody could come to me right now and say, I got $1 million opportunity, you know what I mean, to do cybersecurity. And I won't do it because I have no interest in it and I have no knowledge of it. I don't care that it makes $1 million. I'm like Daquan. I would rather go work at McDonald's and be nice to people than to do something that I absolutely don't like and don't want to do. So I'm a different type of hustler. I'm a different type of grind. I'm hoping that what I love makes me money and I don't do what I don't like all of these things. Hey, I'm going to show you how to make six figures. You want to know how to make six figures? Click right now and I'm going to show you. I don't click because
but do you
I
think
don't
the
do
outcome is the same? Like, okay, because I know you're
no
hustling for dreams, but other people may be hustling for money. But
right.
you just said that you're like, well, maybe you didn't say verbatim, but as far as like the stress, the anxiety, the exhaustion, the pressure, like that still exists, whether you're hustling
Yes.
for your dreams or not, right?
Um, I think that the anxiety is still there because at the end of the day, I do have to make
I'm gonna get
coins.
spoiled by both
You know what I
parents and
mean?
my grandfather, and I'm
But my
thankful for them.
end
But I do
result
understand I also have to make
a
an
lot
effort
of
to do my
times
best in school,
is
so I
the
can also become
financial
successful
part
like
is
them.
okay, but the
Exactly,
fulfillment
Jisoo.
to
That's a
me
big
is
important part about it, right? It's
more.
like
Like
they're
when
not
we
Yeah.
sell
spoiling
cars,
you.
a lot of times our customers
so
being
you can
happy,
just
you know what I
be
mean, and
living
getting a
and
car for their
good.
kid,
Like
and they
no,
didn't have to pay $1 million for that
they're
car.
basically
You know what I
setting
mean?
you
And they're
up
happy
to
to
have a
leave. I give them a
successful
big
life
hug.
because they're like,
That
hey,
means more
while you're
than,
doing good in school
damn, we
or
just
doing
made
good
so
at
and so
work
off
and
that
working on
sale
your
of that
promotion,
car. You know what I
we're
mean?
going to
Mine is
give you
more,
the
and I
things
think
that you
maybe
might want
women
or
are more.
need to help you out
Nah, I don't want to say that because
so
women
you
be like, hey,
can, you
I'ma
know,
sell this. Hey,
go
I'ma
to go
I'ma do
to your
whatever I gotta
future
do to make these
and
coins.
have a better and
So I
brighter
I
future
guess that
and
the
be
hustle
successful like
gives you
us
the
so you
same
can do the same
anxiety,
thing for
but
your
it gives
children
me
and their
a
children,
different
you know.
feeling. But that was a fantastic question, though. What do
Yeah.
you think about that? Do you think that if you hustle doing just anything, like I said, I see all of this, learn how to be a millionaire, learn how to make six figures. All you got to do is sell this weight smudging bull crap. You know what I mean? And people do it because they want to make that coin. They want to hustle to make that coin. I gotta like what I do. I gotta like it, man. I gotta like it, or I'll
Yeah.
just go get a freaking job. Because if I'm gonna hustle regular hustle, then I'm just gonna go get a regular job. Then does that make sense? If I'm gonna
It,
hustle the way that I do, I better like it. Because if not, I'll just go get a job that I don't like. Does it make sense?
Yes.
yes. Yeah, but I was thinking because I was like, there's been times where I've hustled for my passion and hustled not for
Yeah,
my
Candace is in
passion
the chat.
and
She's here.
was
So
exhausted and stressed equally through both
It is,
processes.
but
And
did you get
so
where did you get your most fulfillment at though?
the fulfillment was through the passions, but there's also where that didn't happen. Like there's been multiple times where I've done passion projects and came out like, what was the point of that? So
Womp womp womp. Yes.
so that's why I was like, well, I mean, like I think like the hustle is the hustle. So like your body is going to experience that regardless. But yes, like what you're working for and what you're putting in that effort for at the end of the day, that does make a difference. And so yes, if I'm at my 9 to 5 and I'm doing this and I'm exhausted and I don't get anything out of it, but I do the same process with something that I actually like the outcome of, then at the end of it, it's better. But while you're going through that process, I think it's
Still
similar, at
exhausting.
least for me. Yeah.
What do you think, Daquan?
what's the question? I'm still
Different
sleepy. I'm
type of
I don't
sorry.
hustle.
know.
Do you think that it's different? Do you think that it's different to hustle um, just to make money versus hustling for a passion?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I literally just said this I saw Tatiana's post earlier about, feeling happy about
I
them
did too. That's
yeah,
why I invited her. Hi,
yeah.
Xavier. How's your daughter? Good to see you. Tatiana, I told her to join the show tonight because I was interested in her point of view because
Yeah.
she did make a post, Candace. She had made a post about being like she's been working hard her whole life with no validation and no recognition. And she
Mhm.
was finally honored at her job. She was recognized at her job. And so, I was interested in her joining us to ask her what it's like, for her to hustle all of this time, you know what I mean? And not be recognized and not be, and
Mm.
what about that recognition, which we're going to do a show about because you said, Candace, why is it so important for us
To
to get
get
that validation
recognition and
and
validation,
recognition and
right? Yeah.
recognition? And so I wanted her point of view in this hustle, like the pros and cons of hustling. You know what I mean? So obviously one of her pros is that she finally got recognized for all her damn hustling.
The
You know
Yep.
what I
payoff,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
That that was
there was but here goes to both of y'all. What did she say that payoff was? She didn't say a pay raise.
no,
She
but
said she was recognized.
that was my point that I was telling you because we talked about that. Like we talked about that, and me and mom talk about this, and we tell other people this because of an experience that I had when I was working at a place called Ball Corporation, and
This is great.
it was the job itself. Cool. The job, like my work that I actually did really wasn't that bad. The hours were kind of rough because it's 4 12-hour shifts back to back to back to back. So you're just boom, 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 50 hours, you're knocking them out. And then you get a couple days off. So you would get 4 days off, but you'd rest and then you come back. And it's like you never felt like you were fully recharged from the amount of hours that you put in. So, but it was the actual environment. The job environment was toxic for me. I was never recognized for my work. Matter of fact, any slip up, any mess up, any discrepancy in my work was immediately pointed out. I was constantly micromanaged. I was constantly, it felt like they didn't want me there. Like, that's the way that the environment felt at that job. And I was actually making pretty good money. Like, well, as far as money that I had made in a warehouse, I was making $20 an hour. So, you know what I mean? Pretty good. A lot of people ain't making that. So, you know, I was satisfied. I was happy to be making $20 an hour. But after I lost that job, I went and I started working at a place, Office Depot. I was working at Office Depot, and I think I was making $15.50. So I was making $5 less. I was making $5 less at Office Depot, and I was working like 14 hours less there. I was only working like 38 hours a week, 36, 38 hours. And
Mhm.
so, but I did not mind a single hour I spent at that job, because every single day I went in there, it was, hey, you know, how you doing? Hope you having a good day. And while I'm working my shift, they like, dang, you doing a bang up job over here. And while I'm cleaning my station, dang, your station look good. You know, and it's I'm talking like every 3 hours they would come over and be like, thank you for your hard work. You busting your tail over here. And at the end of the day, I clean up my station. They be like, you ain't have to do that, but dang, man, good stuff. Good for you. Thank you, man. We love that. And I'd be like, nah, because you keep coming over here to check on me, but when he was coming over to check on me, he wasn't coming over there to be like, oh, is your work done? Like, nah, he was coming over there to be like, here, I went to drop you off some extra materials so you can keep doing your thing, and I'm gonna get out of your hair. But good work, man. And I'm out of here. So it was the way I was treated there. I remember coming home and telling mom like, yo, this job is cool. This job is cake because of the way I was treated. I had the hardest job in there. I had to be lifting the heaviest things every day, all day. And I didn't mind it because the way that I was treated at that place, they constantly recognized my efforts, constantly praised me for doing things that, for me, cleaning up is natural. You know, I raised in a household where you just clean up. That's what you do. If you in this area, you clean up. So I'm doing what I normally do anyway, but they giving me validation because they like, we ain't never had nobody who clean up they station, bro. Like, thank you. And that's all that I didn't realize how much, like, how
important.
like, yeah, how important that was to get that thank you and to get that recognition. And all it was just words. It was just kind words. It was just positive reinforcement. It was just, hey, man, you doing a great job. Like, just hearing, I was like, hey, thanks, man. Like, I appreciate that. I'm going to keep doing my thing. And they're like, yeah, man. Like, matter of fact, you working so hard. As soon as you finish with all that, you can go ahead and head home early. Like, and I'm like, yo, like, that was another incentive for me to keep working hard, because it's like, yo, they told me every day, if you work hard the same way you did yesterday, early day for you. You get to leave while everybody else is in here working and taking their time. It was that attitude. So it was like, when I seen her make that post, I was like, I'm right there with you. Like, but to me, that's not what hustle culture is. If I was what they say like is in hustle culture, you know, I would want to keep in there and stay working, and you know, I wanna be the boss of this place. Like,
No,
you know,
I think
like,
hustle culture,
Most
you would have
that.
never left ball.
that's very true. That's very true. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I didn't leave
Hustle
ball. I got kicked out of
hustle
ball.
culture
I
makes
got
you
fired,
do
so
hustle.
it wasn't my choice.
That's true. That's
Like,
true.
because they was
Hustle
micromanaging
culture
mistakes
makes
and
you
was like, you out of there.
the hustle culture makes you do whatever. To me, like, if we're unpacking it, hustle culture seems like you do whatever it is to get
Yep.
that check.
Hustle culture
You know what I
made
mean?
me stay at ball.
Sacrificing.
That's that. I was at ball as long as I was because of hustle culture. That's why I stayed there. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
because you making how much?
That's why
You
they
know
had
what
to
I mean?
fire me, because I wasn't planning on leaving. I was going to continue to suffer at that job and be mentally depressed and
But
emotionally
people
drained.
looked at you like,
You know what I
look
mean?
at you, look
Yeah,
at the
like,
check. But
I was
you're
going
mentally
to
So
stay
there you
there.
prepared for the
go.
Yeah,
check.
I was
You know what
going.
I
Is it
mean?
I was going to stay there.
sacrificing? Is it sacrificing yourself, whether it's your health, your mental health, your time, your family, your dreams, in order to live a life that other people expect of you?
I
That's
think
hustle culture.
Bitches.
I
Oh, you
That's
making the
hustle
money.
culture.
listen.
That's hustle culture
I
right
do
there.
think so, but I think now I think it's different. I think hustle culture is so predatory that I don't even think it's that no more. I think that people are so, and this is why I think that that nobody wants to work anymore ties into this so well, because I know for a fact that if you have a minimum wage job, you cannot live off that minimum wage job. But hustle culture will
And then you
tell
have to
you
have
that
other.
you're
You have
supposed
to
to
have other
have
hustle.
two jobs. Because even
Yes.
if you tired after your first job, hustle culture will tell you you not working hard enough, so you
Yep.
need to go get you a second job because you're not going
Yes.
to succeed unless you do go and break your
Yes.
back for that man and
Yes.
that man. So that's
Yes.
why I say, like,
Yes.
I
A
do
matter
agree
of
with you,
fact,
but I think that it's worse now because hustle culture has gotten so ingrained in us and it's become so toxic that, like, you're
Crazy.
shamed if you are not overworking yourself to the degree that you're just trying to get by overworking yourself. They feel like you have to overwork yourself to just get by, not even to succeed anymore. They still keep that lie in there, but that's why I say it's a
Mhm.
lie now, because you have to work that hard that you could before to succeed. Like you could work overtime at the post office and succeed. No, you work overtime at the post office now and you can put bread on the table. You know what I mean? So I think that's why hustle culture has become so bad now, because the dollar ain't the same. The work value isn't the same. The people are getting paid, unequal amounts for their work and being told that it's their fault. You know what I mean? So I
so
think that
you
that's why
think
it's
that
worse.
hustle culture is a cultural thing, right? So
Yes.
you think that it's a cultural thing because okay, so I'm going to piggyback on that with two different things. One, I had a because I do, here goes my hustle. I do independent care providing, and so one of my clients, I had a re-verification for them a couple days ago. Case manager, whom in which has a master's degree. Me as an independent care provider makes more than her, right? So um she was saying that she moonlights as a bartender and it pisses her off, and this is where Daquan comes in with him saying hustle culture. We've been forced in a hustle culture for two different reasons. One, corporations don't want to pay nothing. Two, goes into social media, which you were saying, Candace. This you have to look a certain way to people or you're ridiculed. You know what I mean? You ain't making, you don't have what? You ain't making what? And it's just like I can't make what they're not
Uh-oh.
paying me. You know what I mean? I got a master's and I'm
Ah.
only making. Did you know? I didn't even know this. Did you know that the average American worker makes $31,000? That is the average American wage. Is $31,000. Now, who the hell ain't gonna have to have multiple hustles making $31,000 a year? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's like you almost have to hustle. In Ohio, I think it was 48,000 was the average in Ohio was the average was 48,000. So you have to hustle. This woman has a master's degree and she has to bartend at night. And she was like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. She said, because I don't want to bartend forever. You know what I mean? So here she's got, and
Lord.
then I know a couple people like tomorrow they're having a job fair in
Same
Columbus
problem.
and we were sending out the thing because people need two jobs. They need a job and a hustle. It's not that you want to hustle. It's that you don't have a choice. Like Daquan was saying, you absolutely have no choice because I'm gonna mention something else and I'm gonna go over to you, Candace. But they just had an article. I sent it to you, Daquan.
Yes.
Um, McDonald's in California. Well, the restaurants in California
What up,
are trying to
cuzzo?
make it that
What up, boy?
fast food restaurants have to pay $22 an hour. So the CEO of McDonald's was like, "That's some bull crap, da 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 da," because fast food restaurants aren't going to be able to get by. And I was like, "Y'all mother effing CEOs is making bank. So what are you saying? Like, so the people at the top, y'all going to not be able to have a jet? Like, you guys are going to have. Oh, I can't have two Lamborghinis. Like, y'all can give up a little bit so other people can effing live. You know, the fact that he
Yeah.
even said that made me want to go. Yes, I know, I'm so passionate. I wanted to go and karate kick him, wheel kick, spin kick, dead in the face. Like I just wanted to
So
just
not so much here, but right here,
just
right,
right
in
here.
here, right in,
Right
right.
here,
Oh yeah.
right, just dead and just, you know, I just, because
Gut and eyes moving.
the audacity of you to say, we can't pay you $22 an hour.
Hey, all
You
we
know what I
missing
mean?
is you,
Like,
cousin. We need a little
did
bit
you
more
just
excellence
say
up in
that?
here,
'Cause
BB.
You know where he lives.
You already know.
You know what kind of cars. You know his kids is in the best schools. And for you to say that, because 31,000, you can't even effing buy a house with 31,000. The minimum, the medium here is 48,000. You could barely buy a house with 48,000. You know what I mean? So the fact that he had the nerve to say that goes into what you were saying, Daquan. We're forced into hustle culture to just effing live. It's like, I gotta live. You know what I mean? And then it goes also. So this hustle culture is, we're forced into it, and it's bad enough that we're forced into it because jobs don't want to effing pay anything. But it's worse when you've got this ridiculing and these people on social media who's always like, you ain't making six figures. I ain't know people wasn't making six figures. Why ain't you making six figures? You ain't making no effing six figures. You know what I mean? Like, who? It kills me because half these people talking this, y'all ain't making no goddamn six figures. You know what I mean? Like, and if you do, you ain't making what you making, 100 grand. Okay,
Yeah.
whoopity damn do. Talk to me when you make $500,000. You know what I mean? Come holler at me. But you know, you
Income
only
statement.
making 70,000. Well, you making 101. You ain't far off. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, you should up.
Shaming damn people into hustle culture. People feel
Yeah.
forced and belittled into hustle culture.
I think
Now-
part of it is because I was thinking, and what's also different is accessibility. Like, I feel like it's easier for people to venture off on their own. So, like, for instance, there wasn't a time where you could just open a store and start drop shipping stuff. Like, go online.
true.
There wasn't a time where you
That's
could
true.
open up a store on Etsy and then have like something. So I think like the fact that there are so many more options, and it's like, no, you don't have to go to this person. You don't have to go to that person. Well, if you want to get the get the code and sign up for the program. But ultimately, I think and maybe it's a facade, maybe it's unrealistic, maybe it's a mirage, but the idea that it's easier to do it. You see an ad every 10 seconds on YouTube. You see this app? I just made $20,000 just by using this app. Like, and like it makes it seem like it's so easy. So I think that plays into like, well, dang, why aren't I doing this?
Why not?
Why
No.
is me just having one job no longer good enough? Not only, like you said, not to survive because now I actually need more money, but then also, like you said, because my job isn't going to pay me more money, now it's my responsibility to go out here and overwork myself, take myself away from my dreams and my family, and to probably do something that I don't like. But if all the stars align, maybe I do open my own business and then become a millionaire. But like you said, Daquan, like, yes, it can happen, but the chances of it happening, that's where it gets a little confusing.
Yeah.
And
That's
so I
why I
think
use that
like,
actor example, because I feel like that's probably one of the best ones. 'Cause
yes,
nobody
it
talks
is.
about all
Oh,
those guys who
absolutely.
are
Look, me
auditioning.
and Tasha
They
can
just
talk
be
to
like,
that.
"Oh, Michael B. Jordan, he did it. He's
Steve Harvey.
he went and he was sleeping in his car and he made it. So that means you can too." Yeah, but come on, talk about all the people who didn't make it, because you have to, like, that's, and once again, that's why I say, like, the misleading nature of it is why I just like it's a lie. Like, it's just so intent, like, and it's the malicious intent behind it. You know, you're going to fool people into hope, because we're
You're
naturally
selling them
going
this
to
oil.
hope. Yeah, you're selling them these hope, and since we live in such a hopeless time, where just
Ooh.
everything seems so bleak, and all we
Yes.
get is bad
And
news
people
from
are
not just
broke.
the news but social media, making you feel like inadequate because you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be at in life. You ain't in shape because that person's in shape, but they just got a BBL, but they saying they
You can't
natural. It
dance
makes you
good
feel
enough.
like, yeah, you can't do your dance move the way that dude did his dance move because you're not dancing no more because you ain't got no time to dance, and you can't afford a membership to the dance studio. You can't, like, so it's all of that, right? It's all of that. You live in such a bleak time to where, and then you go and you work yourself to death to where the only thing that you want to do when you're not working is sleep because you're tired.
Yes. Oh no,
And
no, no! But
then,
you can sleep when you're dead.
right, but the whole thing is that the hustle culture in and of itself is supposed to make you feel guilty for being tired. It's like
Yes.
you're not allowed to be sleepy. You're not allowed to rest because billionaires, they don't sleep. Yes, they do. That's
Yes,
all
they
they
do.
do. That's what I'm saying.
No,
But
because you're
hustle culture,
shamed.
yeah,
You're,
yeah,
you're
hustle culture will
shamed.
tell you that.
Because you
You're
have
shamed.
thousands of people working for you. Like
Exactly.
there's a difference.
But they're like,
There's
when
a
they
difference
first started,
between
they wasn't sleeping.
delegating.
They was up 19 hours a day working hard on their business. No, they wasn't. No, they wasn't. You know what I mean?
You
Like, I
and
met
you
enough entrepreneurs to know that no, they wasn't.
now. So the pros to hustle culture. I'm going to go over to what Candace said. The pros to hustle culture is that um, there are way more opportunities for people to have access to make money than there's been before. So the access
Christian,
to
have they sent you
be
any
able
word
to
over
hustle and
about
have multiple
your
crimes
tryouts?
is totally
I know you said
different
you was gonna
now
text me, but if
and
they did, let me know.
more accessible, like she
Because
said,
we're
through
still on for next
Etsy,
Saturday.
through free social media marketing, you know, TikTok videos, through social media posts. You know, we've got this guerrilla marketing techniques, which is free. Before you had to, you know, you had to pay to be on TV to even be seen. Where
What
now
are you
you've
doing,
got
Cameron?
access to being able to have multiple hustles.
What are you
Another
doing? This thing,
pro.
it's just sliding all over the place.
So accessibility is a pro. Then I also think the extra income that you can make from, so here's one thing that I told people to do if you're going to have hustles. Me and Candace, we talk about this too a lot. um I say do this. What are you good at? Right? What is it that you do that you want to do? If you want to do a bakery, start selling cookies. Right? Say, if I make an extra 5,000, start low. Don't go crazy. I need to make 50,000 from this. Don't do that, because what Daquan says is then you're selling yourself a dream. Other people are selling you a dream, making you feel like you can make 50,000 from just listening to their podcast. Shut the hell up. Like, don't. I hate that. It's really predatory. I can tell you, like me, a lot of people wanted me to start doing a flipping houses workshop, because people were going around, do you want to flip houses? Call us now. We've got 5 openings. And that thing would roll for 12 months. You still got 5 openings? You ain't found 5 people yet? You know what I mean? So, and then you're telling these people that you can help them flip houses when you really can't. Like, I can tell you what I did, but I can't guarantee you that it's going to work the way that it did for me and my husband, right? Because we did a lot of the work ourselves. We knew how to do the work ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We knew how to not get ripped off by contractors, because we know that there's not a such thing as an elbow sink. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just certain things that certain people can do that they're good at, that I don't want to sell you snake oil. So that's where Daquan talk about that predatory type thing. But I say, what is it that you are good at? And like me, I just really put myself, I gave myself a mission. I said, I'm gonna start with a low number. I'm gonna take 3 of my hustles, and say, I want to make 5,000. It sounds stupid, but I'm gonna make $5,000 a year off of each one of those hustles. Because what am I doing? I'm setting small goals. I'm setting small, doable goals. And then everything over that is an overachievement, which I could be proud of. So if I take 3 of those hustles and I make $5,000 a year, which people can laugh and ridicule me all they want to, but I don't care. This is what I think is good about a hustle that is kind of like that'll make you not have anxiety, right? Especially if you already got a regular job. So I said, if I take 3 hustles that I like to do, which is feminine energy, epoxy, memory tables, remember me, and teaching teaching and speaking. So if I make 5,000 off of each one of those, that's an extra $15,000 a year on top of what we already do as a business. So 15,000, look at this, hear me out. If I make 15,000 doing three things that I love, right? And I just bank that. I just sit the 15,000 in the bank that I've made. And that's easy. You should be able to make $5,000 a year, because if you take that and you divide it into 12, that's really making nothing. So if you make that extra 15,000 and the medium wage is 31,000, that's the average is 31,000. I've already made off of three hustles that I love. I've already made half of what the normal average worker makes per year. I've already made half of that doing three things that I love. So that's another good thing about a hustle. So you can take that 15,000 and you can set it up for retirement. You can save that 15,000 for 5 years. You know what I mean? That you make from your hustles, and you can take a nice trip. You can put it to a down payment on you buy a car straight out. You can save it for your kids. So there's pros. Those are the pros to hustles. Then I would say that the cons are what we said, this pressure, this anxiety. A way to alleviate that anxiety is to take it easy on yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't live within your means, first of all, you know what I mean? Live within your effing means. And just take it easy on yourself. Give yourself small chunks. The reason I said 5,000 is because I know it's a doable number. And it sounds like a very small number, but like I said, if you do that with three things that you really love and you make 5,000, that's 15,000. That's half of what somebody makes in a year. So
yeah, that's a great idea. No, I'm not picking on you, but I like when you were talking, it made me think of hustle culture, because you're like, I know that sounds small, and in my head, I'm thinking that's
Yeah,
extra
it doesn't.
money.
That
You know what I'm
I was like
saying? Like,
$5,000. I'm like, I can live for a good minute off of $5,000 based off of a budget. I promise you, $5,000, three business. I'm good. I got
but
it.
I'm talking about in a year time, right? $5,000
Yep.
in a year.
That still sounds mighty good. Like,
so yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like the hustle culture perhaps has told us that's not enough, but it is, right? Like,
yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's extra money, and in your situation, it's on top of what you already have. So it's not like you need it to survive. It's a bonus. So whatever that bonus is great.
And a lot of times, you guys will really never see me out here ever really saying what we have. If you notice, you don't really ever see me saying what we have. Now, I might show our epoxy floors or my new lamp, or you know what I mean, stuff
But
like
that's
that. Just
because
for
people are going to
decoration
infer
purposes.
what you have based off of the things that you guys do that other people can't do. When y'all hung up that chandelier in a dance room, it looks like a goddamn shattered disco ball made of diamonds. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's going to have people thinking, oh, they got bread over there. But really, you might have found it at an auction website and y'all hung it up individually and paid $150 for the whole daggone
You
shebang.
better preach.
So,
You better preach.
but so
That's a part of hustle culture.
it is. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
God.
unfortunately, you're an involuntary proponent of hustle culture, because you are saying, because you worked hard. You worked hard to put those things up, and it's a labor of love, and y'all enjoyed every minute of doing what y'all do. But y'all have fantastic things. Y'all have a refrigerator that y'all can talk to. You know what I mean? And y'all can watch TV off of. But we was there hauling that big goddamn bastard all the way in there and tweaking it, and Dad almost hurt his back so we can get that thing and shimmy it and on a epoxy floor that we had to go over top of. So, but the whole thing is they not gonna see that. Right, but the whole thing is that they're not going to see that. They're going to see what y'all got. And even just by showing, like, hey, look at this project that we worked hard on and we're proud of, you're not intending to be a proponent of hustle culture. But people, because we are so attached to it, are going to interpret it as, I got to get what they got, and I got to work harder because I need what they got. I need to be on their level to have the money to do what they, because they see it and they think, oh, that must have been expensive. They probably broke off bread, when really y'all did the job yourself. We renovated that kitchen and did it with our own hands. But people will spend thousands of dollars doing it. So when they see the new renovated kitchen, they gonna think, oh man, they probably 10, 15 grand on this bad boy, 20 grand on this bad boy. You know, they got bread. I gotta do what they doing. I gotta get on to what they going. And that's why people started coming to y'all about them things like, oh, can y'all start selling us these classes, start selling us these dreams, because y'all got things that we dream about. You know what I mean?
I absolutely refuse to do it. Now I would sit and people can pay me to consult with me. You know what I mean? They can pay a fee to consult with me about it, but I'm very transparent that I cannot. And I actually seen something online the other day, and something told me to mind your business, that's all. But it was a post about, here, come to this workshop and I'm going to tell you how to sell houses. And I'm just like, there's no effing houses on the market. Stop lying to these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I kind of chime in like, do you want to know how to sell real estate? Do you want to learn how to buy a garbage ass house for $75,000 that, you know what I mean, that you're going to have to put $200,000 in? Like, right now is not a real good time because there's really nothing on the market. So when I see people doing that, they're doing that because you're not making houses, you're not making money selling houses. So now you want to come and take advantage. Hustle culture. You want to come and take advantage of other people by telling them, hey, you can get this stuff that I have. Let me teach you how. But you can't.
Yeah, but
there's no
Jisoo,
houses
you gotta
out there,
think, right?
And they're astronomical.
For
right
people
now.
like us,
so now you want to go
when
take
you
advantage
spend
of
more,
people and
because
sell
we're
them
saying
snake oil.
$5,000.
And it
Yeah.
goes into,
So,
like you said, you want to, Daquan, you want to sell them a
when
dream.
you
And
spend
to me, that's just a shitty
$5,000
thing
in
to
a day, which my
do. You know what
sister's
I
done
mean?
that
Like,
as well.
it's just,
We
it's
have
not.
disagreements about that because that's a
Go ahead.
lot of money to
Sorry,
spend
no, I didn't mean to cut
just
you off.
all in one
Why
sitting.
is
And
because
when a
when you
lot
were
of people
talking,
like
I
me
made me
see
think of
that,
something in
it's like,
Daquan.
dang, you're
So
like,
why
you know,
is the
it's
answer
always
or
strange.
the reaction to work more? Like, if I
Mhm.
see somebody else has something or I see somebody did something, why is it, oh, I got to work more to get it? Why can't it
That's a
be,
good
oh, let me
point.
ask somebody to give it to me or let me connect with some other person to get it?
Because
Like, why
we
do
don't
we
know nobody.
automatically go to effort?
Because that's the
So
that's
it's
the
based off like
simplest
who you
way.
know?
It is based off of who you know, but it's what you know. So for the vast majority of us, the only thing we've ever been compensated for is labor.
Is work.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So we don't get
That
compensated
moves.
for our thoughts. We don't get compensated for our opinions and what we talk about. And the upper echelon kind of people do. You have political commentators who get paid millions of dollars to spread propaganda. You get people who go on to Fox News and just say whatever is the buzzwords, and they get paid millions of dollars. There's a YouTuber named Steven Crowder who spreads propaganda, right-wing propaganda on YouTube, and he got mad at a place for only offering him $50 million in his contract. So it's that kind of nature where it's like he gets paid to talk. So for him, he's valuing his words as this. But us, when all we have ever been paid for is to just break our back to do something, then that's all we're going to think of doing when we want to achieve something. Like a football player. A football player is going to be like, dang, this dude took my position from me. I got to work out more. I got to run more. I got to train harder so I can get my position back, or I can get a better spot or something like that. It's what you know. You know what I mean?
But
It's what you're built into.
But if it was a situation to where you know that you're in an environment and you feel that you'll be successful this way to say, oh, he took my spot on the football team. Let me go call Joe so we can have a conversation about this because I
Oh
ain't got to
yeah.
work.
Oh
All
yeah.
I got to do is call this person up and it's going to
Oh
happen.
yeah. And people, I believe that a lot of people will call that working smarter instead of working harder. But if you
Yes.
don't know Joe and you just a dude on the team who got a spot just because they needed an extra body or something, you know what I mean? All you're going to know is I just got to put in this work. You know what I mean?
So how do we change that to where we start looking for other ways to get things done rather than through labor?
So one of the things, let me answer that, and I'll let you
Uh-huh.
answer that, Kwam. I'm going to answer that. Candace, I think one of the ways that we do that is actually something that I had put on my page. And I actually have to go back and answer a question that someone said. Because I said, we see all of these posts that says, make 100,000. And I actually that is the topic that I want to talk about in the future, where it is getting income shamed, right? People get income shamed for only making 30,000 a year. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna need my man to make that. Well, he can't because he can't make them pay him more. Well, I'm gonna need him to have initiative. He's got a master's. That's what they're paying him. What do you want him to do? You know what I mean? So I think that I think that people have to be happy where they're at. Okay? What I mean by that? Okay. Our house did not cost us a whole bunch of money because we bought it toe the hell up, right? Because we have the skill to fix it. So fix what you have, if that makes sense. So if you can only afford a $50,000 house, buy a $50,000 house and get on some auction websites and buy you some cute ass stuff. You know what I mean? And make it yours. Whatever you have, be happy with it. And I think that that's where one of the places that we have to be is just happy with what we
Our
have.
jobs where our work is
But
positively
going
acknowledged.
into what Daquan
Yeah, we're
said,
very different.
it's almost impossible to freaking
We're very
breathe
different.
because we're getting choked to death by.
We're
you know what I mean?
inspired
Like,
to
you
work.
almost
We're
gotta
inspired
hustle
to
survive.
do better.
But
We're
that goes
inspired
into, if you can
to,
only buy,
you know,
I have this a lot, like on our
just
car
put in that
dealership.
effort, you
We have
know,
people that have
because the job
$2,000
is responding
they'll
with that,
come
with
out,
positive
but we'll have a
reinforcement, saying, "Hey,
$2,000 car
we see you,"
to have some rust on
and that's
it.
all we
You know
really
what
be
I mean?
wanting.
It's $2,000
For them to just
you
see
worked
us,
hard
like,
for
you
it.
see
I've
me.
been there before where I've only had $2,000. We used to be negative $600 in our bank account, right? So, but every
The
place
comment
that we
as a text to
live,
someone else.
we made it cute. We made it home. We made it. We had decorations that we loved.
Oh, you are on
we
your
had
phone, huh,
love there. We
Nessa?
had
Yeah,
kids
that
there.
would make
It was
sense.
a
I
lot
wouldn't be
of
surprised
love.
about that.
It wasn't like, oh, we got to buy a bigger house. So I think it's being happy with where you are and accepting self. You know what
Oh
I mean?
goodness.
They wouldn't want the $2,000 car. Daquan, what would they do? Because Daquan used to run the car dealership for us. What would they do? They would come out and they would have $2,000. We would show them a car with rust on it. What would they do?
Oh, they would complain. They'd be like, I don't want this.
And then what would they go look at?
Probably like a $5,000 to $6,000 car.
Hey,
And
why
and
can't I
and
get this?
and then you would tell them, you would be like, yo, that car is $5,500. You only got 2,000 on you. They're like, well, can you do 1999? I got 1999 cash.
Cash.
I got cash on me right now in your hand. 1999 out the door, no taxes. I'm like, sir, the car is the lowest they could probably do is $49.99 out the door. Yeah, 2,000 cash. I could even do 2,500 cash in your hand, cold right now. It's
So
like,
and I'll give you this pack of bubble gum. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So,
maybe a kiss on the cheek.
so
None of that. No.
so it was, they didn't want what they, and then I would see a lot of people, they would take that money and go buy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a video on, to me, ways that people can be happy where they're at, right? If you have money for a $2,000 car, I had a van, me and Tyrone had a van, my husband, where we had to get out and like hot wire it to start. To get, you know what I mean? Because we had to hot wire it to get it to go. And that was fine by us. It was where we were at. You know what I mean? So get the $2,000 car, they would take the $2,000, they would go make payments. They would take it to a buy here, pay here lot, and they would go make payments on the car and end up losing the car, you know what I mean, within the first year, or maybe within the first, 2 years, or have things break down on it. You don't have a warranty, you know what I mean? Now you got to make your payments and your insurance, and you know what I mean? And now you got to fix
You
your
sent them
car.
to two different people.
$2,000 car, you could have just drove it until the wheels fall off.
You gotta be careful,
So it's
Nessa.
being
Jeez.
happy where you are and being at peace with where you are until you can move forward. And you can move forward by getting a little baby hustle. What is it? Make earrings, sell earrings, try to make $5,000 extra a year. Save that $5,000 up for that year, bring it to us, get a $5,000 car, pay it off. So I'm going to start making tips for people to be okay with where you're at. Candace, that to me is how we can shift the mind but I don't think that it will ever change because there's always, even on the professional pages that I really appreciate people trying to say, hey, people of color, we can build wealth. We could do this here. Let's build this wealth. But it also annoys me because what if a person can't? What if a person is doing the best that they can do? Damn, you know what I mean? What if they're doing the best that they can do? Now they feel like they're not good enough because they can't make $2.5 million like this girl that you have on your page. I'm proud of her, and I'm glad that you put her out there. But sometimes it makes people feel like they're not good enough, that they're not hustling hard enough, like they haven't given it all that they've got. You know what I mean? And it's all about having what you have and making it the best that you can and appreciating it. That to me is how you shift it. It's
So
being
can
happy where
can
you
I
are.
interject? I just had one question. I got an actual question. So it's about that whole kind of $2,000. They want a $5,000 car kind of thing, or
Yes,
um.
which is our
So
life.
it is, but I was thinking about that, and I just wonder because I wonder if people do things like that because some people work harder for $2,000 than others. You know,
Absolutely. That's why I
so
said it's a lot of money.
yeah, well, no. That's not necessarily what I mean. Like, it's regardless of how you look at it from whatever standpoint. Unless you just got bread on top of bread, $2,000 might not be nothing to you. But like, for somebody who worked real hard and was saving up for like 5 months to get that $2,000, they're gonna value that $2,000 differently than somebody who worked in 2 months to get that $2,000. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be much harder for them to come off of that, and they're probably going to want something because they value that $2,000 probably more valuable than $2,000 actually worth because they probably worked for the amount of
More
work,
than
yeah, that they put in was probably worth
Mm,
$4,000, but they only got
Mhm.
2,000. So I think that sometimes we can be a little hard on some people because it's irritating from our perspective. Because at the end of the day, we can't take a L for you. You know what I mean? Because then we gonna be out here looking rough. But at the same time, it's still like a thing where I still empathize with some people who are like that because I can't understand that if you got $2,000, some people are just like, I do want that $5,000 car because I feel like the work I put in for this $2,000 should get me that car. I
that's
worked
a great
hard.
point. That's
So
a
I
great
think
point,
that it's just another thing to where I will piggyback off of what you said, and I think a big way that we can break off a hustle culture is to have more empathy, is to empathize with others and recognize that that person's hard work is not the same definition as mine is for hard work. I used to consider 4 hours in the gym hard work. Some people would look at that and be like, "You're an actual maniac person. I don't like you." I'm not cool with that. So, but that's the thing, right? Is like my definition of hard work is like if you ain't hitting that and you ain't in there for at least 3 hours, you're not working hard enough. I was telling myself that. But other people are like, man, like I put in hard work today. I was in the gym for an hour, a whole hour. I was in there working. So it's like everybody's definition of hard work is gonna be different. So it's important for us
But
to
do
empathize.
you think that we lose empathy? Because I said so I remember at a point in time where I had no vehicle whatsoever. I was working at the post office. Um, and I had to save up a check and a half. I think I had to save up
How do
a
you know
check
when you
and a
are in a
half.
good
And
position
then
to stop
after that check
working
was gone, I was about to be
hard
broke.
and just
This is
enjoy
the
what you
only
have when you
I
see
had like
someone
two
else with
real
better things
jobs in
than
my
you?
life, and I call them real
That's a
jobs
very
because they
good
were
question,
9 to
Jisoo. That's a
5s.
very good question.
I
Um,
haven't did very many 9 to 5s in my life,
I think the thing is that when you see somebody who has better things
but
to
I
you, it's a matter of
remember
perspective.
not having a
If I
car,
see somebody who
and
has a car that's
then I
nicer
went to
than
this
mine,
guy and he had a car that was $2,500,
it won't matter to me
and
because
I
if I
had
have the
that.
car that
But
I
I didn't
wanted
go to
or the car
someone
that
who
I
had a
like, that
$5,000
means
car
nothing to
because
me.
even
So
though I
it's
worked
it's
hard
about
for that
not
car,
comparing yourself to other
worked hard for that
people
money
and focusing
to
more
save
on being
it.
happy
I
with the things
can't
that
go
you've
get a
achieved.
$5,000
Because that
car. To
person who
me,
got
it
that
doesn't.
car that's
To
nicer
me,
than yours or
I
whatever
hear what you're
probably had
saying, and I
opportunities you
really,
didn't
really,
have,
truly
you know?
can appreciate that
Um,
perspective. I
and
do
I
because
don't
I
believe you're
always like
ever
things
in
that make
a
me
good
say,
position
okay, let
to
me make
stop
sure that I'm
working
not the
hard.
asshole, right?
I feel like there's
But
always
and
something
check
to
yourself because
achieve
sometimes we have to check
and something
ourselves.
to work
But
hard
to me, I'm
towards,
not going to go to
but there
someone
are
who has a
different levels
$5,000
of,
car and I
you
have
know, working
$2,500
hard.
and
I
think
think
that
there
he should
are
adjust it
positions
because
like if
I'm
you're
me.
comfortable enough to
And a lot
provide
of
for
times I would
yourself
see
and
women
take
who
care of yourself,
really did this
then
a
I think
lot, and it
that's when
kind
you're
of
in a
annoyed me, and
position
I
to
hate
where
to
you
say it
don't have
because I
to
was a
work
single
as hard
mom.
as you were
I'm a
getting
single
into that
mom.
comfortable
Can you
position.
take half off?
Oh, hello, Jessica.
No, because I'm a single mom
What up,
too.
Josh?
You know what I mean? So you get these kind of, to me, it's these kind of hustles like, well, I'm a single mom. Can you take half off of your car? You know what I mean? And so I think that it can almost be predatory for you to feel like I should take half off of what it is that I'm doing. You know what I mean? To make your life easier. You know what
Right,
I
right.
know that sounds really mean, but
But I did say that though. I did say that, you know, we can't take the L for empathizing with you. I was just saying that I think that we do need more empathy to at least understand where these people are coming from when they do have those stories, because they might genuinely feel like I had a rough time and I'm a single mom and I'm struggling, and it's like we do empathize with that, but at the same time that doesn't mean that we gotta struggle because, you know, like, because we can't start struggling because you struggling. Like we can't transfer some of that struggle on us from everybody who comes our way with my dog died, you know, like we can't do that. But I am saying that socially, not just, I wasn't talking just about us, I'm saying socially, if we empathize with the fact that people are breaking their backs at these jobs and not getting paid what they deserve, you know, it is
absolutely,
the fact that we don't have
absolutely.
social empathy for those people, and instead of empathizing, be like, dang, you working hard and you not getting paid, and that's wrong. You know, you should be getting paid more for what you're doing. Instead, we're turning around and being like, you should be making more, and it's your fault that you're
Exactly.
not making more because you
But
aren't
that's
working
but
at this job too.
that's true. That's true to a certain point. So let me say the slogan for our dealership is working hard for the hardworking people. Right? So our whole thing with our dealership was selling cars to people, and our, you know, Daquan, that most of our inventory was $2,500 and under.
Yes,
We catered to
we
people
catered to the working
we
class.
catered to people who did not have a lot of income, who's, you can't go out and buy your kid an 8,000, 10,000, $20,000
Right.
car. You know what I mean? So we
Oh,
catered
Mug
to
Chick is
that
here. I didn't see Mug
income
Chick.
level. Our whole dealership was based off of 2,500, and a $5,000 car was huge in our
Realistically, you have to
dealership.
know how
Like,
much you make, size
if
spend, and
it's
how
five
much
thousand
debt
dollar
you
car,
have.
you
You have
don't,
zero debt,
because
money to
we
pay
catered
land,
to
taxes until
people
you
who
pass
had
away,
lower
and a car
income. You know
owner.
what
It's
I
up to
mean? Who
us to be
might have
happy.
lost a
That's very
job,
true,
who
Josh.
needed
It
a
is
second
very
income
much up to
car,
us to
who
determine
needed just to get to work,
um
who needed just to get to
what
school.
we feel
When we
like we
started
require
renovating and
to be
flipping
happy.
houses in the
And
inner city, we
if
did
we
it
truly
based
feel
off of
like we
people who
cannot
make
be
that
happy if
31,000,
somebody
that
else has nicer
48,000,
things
who
than
may
us,
not
then
be able to
we have to do
afford
some
a
reflecting and recognize that
$200,000
we
house
might
or a
be materialistic.
$300,000 house. We were
And
like,
if we're materialistic, what are we going to do
STNAs
about it?
need
You
to
know,
buy
are
a
we going to
house
live
too.
beyond our
You
means?
know what
Are
I
we going to
mean?
put ourselves into debt so we can have
People who
nice
work at
things
Target need to
that don't
be
really
able to
have
buy
any value
houses too.
besides
So
their,
our
you know,
whole everything
price
that we
tag?
did was based around people
So
who
I
had
think
lower
when you
income.
get in a very
You know what I
dangerous
mean?
position,
So,
Jisoo,
but I
when you
still
are
think,
bringing up other people having nice
and I
things
can't really
or
say
compared
this,
to
but
you,
I'm
and it
going to, but in a
affecting
different way.
your life in any way.
We
You
had
know,
somebody
somebody else
who
having
we
a nice
knew
house, I
who
can understand that
they're
inspiring you
carless,
to want to
and
maybe
we're just like,
pursue
hey, we
greater
got a
things and
car,
achieve
you know,
higher.
up at the shop that we
I don't feel
got for
anything wrong with
2 grand,
that. But to make it
and they were
feel
like,
like
no, I
if
want
you
this
have
one,
nice things and somebody else
which it
having
was 4
nice
grand,
things makes you
and we're
feel
like,
bad about
no,
yourself
we got
and
one.
makes you
You don't
feel
have
like,
a
you know,
car at
you have
all,
to
and we're
have a
like, yo,
nicer thing
we
than
can
the
sell you
next
this one
man to be
too.
happy,
Nah, I
then
like
you're
this one.
not
This one
ever
is
going
sharp.
to be happy.
But you don't have the money for this one. That goes back into,
There's
you
probably
have
not.
to
Oh
be okay
yeah,
with where you're at.
that
Because
ghetto
if
gospel
you
in.
feel like I worked hard, so I need this, you're not there yet. So that goes against everything that I've
I'm
been
running
trying
like
to
2
say.
cars and a few
You have
motorcycles.
to
Yeah,
be
I knew
okay
about your
with
cars
where
and
you're at.
motorcycles.
If you can only get a
But yeah,
$2,000
so
car,
that's
shoot,
an
put you
important thing,
some,
Jisoo, is like
some incense and
understanding
some,
that
make it cute. You
coming
know
from
what
a
I mean? Like, you
lifestyle
have to
that
be okay with
for
where you're
many
at.
people here in
It's
America or just
it's
most
unfortunate
people in
because, like you
America,
said,
you
Daquan,
have a luxurious
corporate
lifestyle,
America
you
has a
know.
lot of blame to do with this, with what they're paying. But at the end of the day, if you're not okay with the $2,000 car, then we can't get rid of, which Candace was saying, we can't get rid of this hustle mindset because we always feel like we have to have that $5,000 car instead of what it is that we could afford. One of the things I want to say about my cousin, Candace, Candy Rain Productions, is she hustles. She works. She has multiple hustles. She grinds. So one of the things that I preached to her was don't have a car payment. So Candace listened to our advice, and what did she do? She saved. So she's got. I don't want to put your business out there, but I kind of do because you're like an example. No, you're a shining example of exactly what it is that I'm talking about because you were struggling at one time. You know what I mean? And then you saved and you saved and you saved. And then you got I'm not going to put it all the way out there, but she came to us and she bought a G6. And she rolled the damn wheels off that car, baby. When I tell you, she had that car for like 7, 8 decades. She had that car for like 10 years. And the paint was faded. You know what I mean? Like, and she rode it and she hustled in it. She grinded in it. She took it to do extra hustle jobs. Like she was shooting weddings and videos. And I mean, she hustled in this car. And she was comfortable and happy with where she was at. And when I tell you the paint was faded, I was like, let me paint this car. Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? And she wrote it and she saved. And I had pulled up years ago, probably 10 years ago, I'm going to say. I pulled up in her house and I'm just putting your business out there. I pulled up in her house in her dream car. I ain't even like it. I was just like, I don't like the color, right? And she was like, "That's my dream car. Though. You tripping?"
Because I've always wanted to own my own business.
It was the Lexus
Yeah.
SC430.
I think that's a big part, right? Is like hustle culture can have its
like, "That's my dream
pros
car."
in the sense
What
to
did
where
she
we
do?
can inspire
She
each
kept
other
that
to
G6, rolled it till the wheels came off.
achieve greater.
She saved,
you know,
saved.
So I do think there can be positives
And
when it comes to
then
hustle culture, but I
she
just think
went
that we
and she
just
bought
took it to the
cashed
extreme,
out
you know.
Hey.
her dream car. She went and cashed out a Lexus, but she saved.
She gave him
She
$2,000
herself-
cash.
I got 2,500. But I'm just saying it because she sacrificed. She was happy where she was at. It was good enough for her.
Some of my friends in my
because
Korean
it didn't
age,
take away from her.
25,
She
my
was
foreign
still
age,
beautiful.
23.
She was
They
still
work
bombing
here
her side
and
gigs.
there,
She
but
was
not
still
really.
bombing her job.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
I mean, listen,
And then
Jisoo, there's
she stayed
nothing
in the
wrong
apartment. She stayed
with
there, stayed.
being
She
born
stacked,
privileged,
stacked.
right? But
She
there is an
listened to
important
advice of
thing to
others
acknowledge
and went
that privilege,
and
you
went
know,
looked at
and
houses
recognize it, and
and,
know
you
that
know,
there are other people who are less
I'm putting
fortunate
your
than
business
you,
all out there.
and
But all I'm trying to say is she
and just
is
know
a
that it's
homeowner.
like, hey, like
To
if
me,
you
she's
have
a
these nice
homeowner now.
things,
She cashed her
don't
out.
put other people down
Not
for
two
not
luxury
having those
cars.
nice
She
things.
cashed
You know,
out. She cashed out not one,
I'm not
but
going to
two.
get mad at you for having nice
But
things
she
or
went
being
from
prosperous
owning
because your family is doing
one
well,
just
you know.
regular
But I
car
will
for
get upset
10
if
years.
you decide to shame
10
other
years.
people for not having what
She
you
was
have,
okay with
where
where
you
she
acknowledge
was
that you don't really have to work that
and
much.
that's how, and
You know,
that is what I want
like,
to preach. That is
it's
what I want to
it's
speak on.
it's like
That
if you
is what I
acknowledge
want
that,
people to be
then
okay with where they're at. And
it's
we're
good. It's
actually
positive
doing
steps.
things to
My
her
dad was
house,
played this whole
but
life
we're
trying to
doing
keep
it
up
as
with
we
the Jones.
can.
Sadly, the Joneses, any and
And
everybody.
then probably
But you're
3 years from now,
unfortunately,
she
your
gonna
father
walk
was
in and her
plagued with
house is
something
gonna
that a
be
lot of
cold,
people in the
but
black
a lot of
community
the
are
stuff
plagued
is
with.
cold
You know,
already.
like
But a lot of
this
stuff she gonna get,
this
we're
desire
gonna
to
get off
keep up with
auction
other
websites.
people and to
We're
be
gonna
better
get
than the
from
next
liquidators.
man,
We're gonna get
instead
from
of
wholesalers.
inspiring the next
A lot of
man
the
for
work
us
we're
to
gonna teach her
all
how to do by
prosper
herself.
and
We're gonna help
thrive.
her. So I'm
More
just
family
saying,
stuff from his
be
financial.
okay
Yeah,
with
that's
where
so
you're at and
unfortunate.
just build. So I think, Candace,
Love,
if I
I'm
could
richer
answer that
than your
question,
whole family.
my main thing would be
Okay,
okay with
cool.
where
I
you're at.
guess
And
good.
you
Good
are
for
an
you.
absolute
I don't.
beautiful,
I
shining
which is, you
example
know
of
what's
that.
interesting about that comment is
You.
that I was just talking about Jisoo
Wow.
about not
Yes.
I appreciate that.
kind
A
of
little,
making other
like,
people feel disparaged about
transparency
not
because
having as much money as you. So
although I
you
was,
coming to say that you're richer
I
than my
made
whole
it
family,
through. I wasn't always happy.
so what? What does that mean?
No,
Are you
that's
happy?
fine.
I
Thank
was,
you for
Are
sharing
you
but
are you happy with that? Are
Thank
you
you for sharing
Yeah.
did
that.
that
That's
comment make
important
you
for
feel
people
better
to
about
know
yourself? That
how
like
you did
what
that.
did you get
Like,
out
how
of
did you say?
saying
How
that?
did you make it through
You know,
to do what you
and
did, to buy
why
a
should I
house, to
care
become a
that you're richer
homeowner,
than
to
me and
buy
my whole family?
to
And
cash out 2
you know,
luxury
what does that
cars?
mean to me?
Like, and it's not like
He wasn't the
you
breadwinner.
don't
The
be out here
fact
like,
that
yeah. It was hard work.
oh,
for
that
you.
is
So
true. Your
kind of
dad isn't
explain to
black.
people
That is
how you
true.
did
That is
that,
true. But I still
how it
acknowledge
felt.
that it is a problem in the black community. I think it
I
is
think you're
especially a
muted.
problem in the black community.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It felt like kind of what I talked about like we talked about in the
Like
beginning,
aside from his
um,
art, he was able to
it
sell
was definitely like
sometime after
exhausting.
we were done with
I
those.
would say I did have a
Oh wow,
hard
so he was still working 2
time
jobs.
seeing the end.
Yeah,
Like
both less a
like
month each,
the
years
hustle
between.
was real,
Yeah,
and it didn't feel good. I
that's
think
unfortunate.
the
I
times
don't like
where
when people have to
it
work
did
2
feel good,
jobs
like going
to
back to
just
what we
get
talked
by
about,
and to just
recognition.
provide for
So like
their
with
families.
my job,
Like I
of
feel like you
course,
should
like
be
new
able to
raises and
provide for
being
yourself and your
promoted,
family working
that's
one
all,
job 40
that
hours
always
a
makes
week.
it better.
Like I
And
feel like
then as
40
far
hours
as
a
like
week
the
should be
other
like, yeah,
side, like, you know, as you
he's
start to grow
you
your
know putting in
business,
that
you
work
start
for
to
his family.
see,
He's
you
putting in
know,
that
the
40
fruits of
hours,
your
that
labor
5
or
days a
your
week,
vision
every single day,
come.
busting his tail,
But
9
I
to
mean,
5.
it's a lot of work. Like it's exhausting,
I tried to help
especially
as much as I can.
when
That's
you're
good,
doing it by
Jisoo. That's good.
yourself. But
No,
Say
he
that
but
again.
there
wasn't
was a
working
side
2
of me,
jobs.
You're doing it
huh?
what?
When you're doing
When
it
you
by yourself.
did y'all hear that? I'm sorry. I just wanted her to repeat that because everything that I just told y'all that she accomplished, she did it. When I tell y'all that I
What see
get
people doing
so
negatively with hustle
inspired
culture is
by
not
my
educating people
baby
properly on the
cousin,
highs and the very lows
I
of
get
hustling on your and owning
so
your own.
inspired
That's
by
very
her
true.
because I did it
Oh,
and I
okay, okay.
had
So he wasn't
this
working very
dude
much.
who can build.
What I see, yeah. So
My husband can build a
I think,
freaking.
but
I said I want
that's
to
a big
dance for
part
you.
of
He went
hustle
and built
culture
it
is
for me. You
selling
know
the
what I mean?
lie,
Like
right? You have to sell the lie.
she
You have
did
to
this on
sell
her
this
own, man.
idea
You know what I
that
mean? Like
you know
yeah, go ahead.
you're just going to be
Thank you,
successful
but
if you follow my 3-step
but yeah,
program,
I
you're
mean,
gonna
like
be
I think
successful.
like
You know.
how it felt,
You
it
need me
was
to remove the
just
troll? No,
exhausting. But to
no.
your point,
Leave them.
like
They're probably not even here anymore.
it
The
is a
odds are, if they're a
practice,
true
right?
troll, they came here to just
Going
say
back to
something
what you were
mean
saying
and went
about
on
being
because
happy
it was
where
6
you are,
people
and I was paying
and now it's
attention
5
to
people, so they're
like
probably not
the
even here
YouTube
anymore. And
chat,
if
and
they
there was like
are,
some good
I don't care.
questions and conversation
Because like I
going
said,
on
my
in
whole thing
there
was
about like
I'm going to
just
inquire
figuring
about
out
why
like
you felt the
what
need
works
to
for
come here
you,
and just
whether
say
it's how
I'm
much
richer than
money
your
you
whole
make, what
family.
type of
Like,
life you want to live, and
you
it's
know,
and if
like
that's where you are, then it's up to you, you know, to
it's
decide
so
if you want to
funny
be
because
happy.
it's like, you know, you
So
say things
it's
like that,
definitely
and that's
like
the whole
a lot
point of what we're
of
against here. We're not that
mental work
that
goes
goes
into
against
it
the
because
environment that we
you do
promote
have to
here on
constantly.
the stream,
We
in the
already know
environment
this.
on the
It is a
channel, in the
constant
environment
battle.
that I
You
want
know, we
us to
talked about
promote as a
the
community
culture and the
of
constant
togetherness.
like
When you are a
external
person like that, when you're that kind of person
things
who
that can affect your
just
mind.
gets a
So
kick out of
like
just
a couple of
running
things
around
that
and
you
saying
said, no, I'm
I'm
kind of
richer than
going off,
you,
but a
like,
couple of things that
then
you
to me you're
said
not a very good person. You know,
sparked
like
something in
so.
me where I was
I
thinking
think
like
maybe their
FOMO. There's
goal was
the
to probably
fear
hurt somebody's
of
feelings,
missing
you
out.
know,
And
and
so
then they
when
didn't
you
even spell
mentioned something
family,
like
you know, correctly.
oh,
So,
I'm making
you know,
$2.5 million.
if
Like,
you're
what are you
rich,
doing?
take a
Or
English
like,
grammar
why aren't
class.
you
Like,
doing
I
this?
don't know,
And the
you know what I
person
mean?
who is
Like, do
seeing
better.
that, they're
Just do
probably
better. You
thinking the
know.
same way, or they're thinking
Did you see my text? I
there
saw
is
it, but
a
I didn't read
life
it
that
yet.
I could be living, but I'm not, and I'm missing out on that.
He was broke
So
bougie.
it's like
I know a
because
lot of
when you
broke
have
bougie.
your life, you're
He's
like,
likely
oh,
a
I feel
child.
good, you know,
I
I got
doubt
my
it,
house.
honestly, Nessa.
But there's
I honestly
always
doubt it.
something
I feel like
better.
they're probably a
So at
grown
some
adult
point in time, the question is going
and
to
get a
cross your
kick out of
mind.
just
Why
saying
don't
negative
you have
things. You
more?
know, just a grown adult. I feel like
Because
a lot of
like
trolls are just grown ups,
even with
just
my
straight
cars,
bitter,
I
mean
can
people.
say, well, they're not
And we
2022.
don't do that
You know what
here.
I'm saying?
You
Like
know,
there's always
like, you
something
know, I
better.
don't
There's
mind
always something
disagreeing with
more
somebody
that
on the
can
stream.
be
I had that
happy.
person in the
And I
last
think
stream,
that
Sunny, who
concept
was
of FOMO
they're
plays a
going
lot
hardcore
into
Christian in the
the
chat, and
hustle
I don't want
culture
them removed. I
because
want them
I
here
mean
to
I've
say
been
what
caught
they
up
feel like
like,
they
dang,
gotta
you
say.
tell me
But
people out
you're
here
going to
making
get
10
pushback
grand
from me.
for
You
leaving
know,
reviews on the
I'm
app.
not just gonna let you
Like
say
well,
what you
I'm
want to
in the
say and
wrong
then
lane.
not
Like I've
address
heard
it.
so many people say that, like, oh, I got the wrong job. You know, like you can
Okay.
just go over here and do this, like, oh, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's like some people say it as a joke, but some people are like really like, oh, you mean to tell me I'm over here working my fingers to the bone when I could just be sitting up on the internet on TikTok copying dances and making bread? Like I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that plays into it. And then back to like going back to what we were saying about like being happy where you are. I think for me back then it was definitely like a constant battle, but now it's like what they were talking about in the chat, like it's a decision. Like you have to make a decision on what you want your life to look like, and you have to stand in that and be okay with that. Just like you were saying, like, you know what? I have this house. It's not a mansion, but you know, I don't care because it's fine by me. And it doesn't matter if somebody comes up and has a bigger house with a pool and all this land and stuff like that. It looks great. And I think that moment where you see what you have and you see what somebody else has, that's where the work needs to be done to say, you know what, that's cool, but I'm good with what I have. And I think that is like the hardest part, because even when you told the story, that was a story of elevation, meaning I wasn't satisfied with where I was because I kept going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you you are okay with it, but at the end of the day, you still want more. Like, you still want to progress. You still want to move forward and see what you can get out of this life. And I think the fact that we want to explore and we want to accomplish and we want to see, do, plays a role into us wanting to exert effort in getting. So I,
I
I think
think,
it's like we're effed up, man. We just
yeah, we're everywhere. I think that
so
hi Vimby. Vimby Vims is on here. IA is on here. So I wanted to I want to say, in Daquan, I think that I went to my son, or my youngest baby. He received an award today. He came in first place in IT. What was it? Cybersecurity award. So he's
Hmm.
going to the States. So we went to his award show this morning, and the dean of the school, of the tech program, of the tech school, trade school, he said, he was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. He was like, I had a master's degree, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. He said, he said, at first I was in school to be a physical therapist. He was like, I was in a room of 600 people and they said, we're picking 30. He was like, I wasn't one of them. What do I do?
It's
He
funny
said,
that
I didn't know what I
some
wanted to do. I
days
did this,
you
I
have to
did
make
that.
decisions
And I thought
too.
that was such a powerful moment for
What do
him
you
to
mean,
say that.
Jessica?
You know what I mean? Trying to find self. Where do I belong? Where am I? Who
One
am
thing I
I?
know
What do
100%
I want
about
to
them is they would
do?
never say it
You
to
know
your
what I mean?
face.
And then he
I
was like,
mean, even if they did,
said,
Nessa, they would
I wanted
probably
to
get
teach.
the
And then he said he went
same
to a high school. He
like
didn't like it.
response. Like,
And then he said
okay.
when he went to the tech school, he was like, I
Like
think I
that would
can
be the
kind of
funniest thing, is because
figure.
they would
You know what I
probably
mean?
think that they
So
would get some sort of
sometimes it's
rise out of
weird
me, like,
because
would
in
you
life,
say you
sometimes you
richer
just
than me?
kind of
Like, I'd be
drop
like,
into a
okay,
hole.
you
I fit
probably
here. You know
are.
what I
I
mean?
don't care.
But until then,
And
you
my
gotta
response
try
will
to be
probably be like,
okay
okay, are you
with
happier
until
than
you
me though?
find the
Because I'm
hole
very
that you
happy.
drop into. Which
Like,
unfortunately, some
oh yeah, I'm
people
happy as
never
hell.
really
I'm happy
find
because
that
I'm rich.
hole.
Well, then you're
That's
not
why my
happy.
hustles have to be
Because
fulfilling, right? I
I'm
have to
going
be
to be happy
fulfilled by my
regardless if
hustles.
I'm rich or not.
So go
I would just
into
be
what you said
happier
by
if I was rich and able to afford
being
things that I want
being
and
you
like.
know, being
But I'm going to be happy
uncomfortable. You
regardless
said
if
you were
I'm rich or
unhappy
not.
sometimes
And
and
so if somebody
uncomfortable
is that kind
when you
of
were on
person where
that
they feel like they
journey.
have to
Aren't all
flex
journeys kind of
being richer
uncomfortable,
than you
especially
in
if
your
they're
face,
long?
you know,
You got to get
or
out, you
say
got to
things like
rest your
that,
legs.
you
You know what I
know,
mean? You got to roll down
um,
the window because you're getting
then
tired. You're
you're not
nodding off
happy.
behind the wheel.
And
You know
so
what
at the end of the
I
day, you
mean?
saying something like
Like,
that
you got
doesn't
to pull over, you
it
got to
doesn't
pee, you
phase
got
me,
to,
and
you
it
know what I
never
mean?
can,
So
because
you
I don't
on a
care.
journey, you know,
I'm not the kind of person
it
who's
might
too
be
insecure to where
uncomfortable.
it's
It
like
might be
I
cramped. It
recognize that
maybe, you know, you got
I've
to
been
keep
broke
pulling over
and
and
I'm
getting
still going to be
gas. You
broke
got
for a
to, you know
little
what I
while,
mean? Your
like,
car might
and I
break
live off
down.
of my student
So
aid,
that's your
and
life
you know,
journey. It's the
until I get
same
my
type of
degree and
thing.
get
You're
a
going
good
to be
paying job,
uncomfortable. You're
I'm
going to be
going to
tired. You're
struggle.
going to run out of
That's
gas.
a
You know what I
reality for
mean?
me. But once
So
I
I
get to
think
my ideal
just
career
being
goal,
happy with
I'm gonna be
where you're
happy. Like, I'm
going
gonna be happy with the
is
amount I'm making,
really
you know?
key. I like what you said, Candace,
Like, do
about
you feel
what your
better now? Would
YouTube
you like a
viewers
cookie? I
were
know, right?
saying
You
as
make
far
money.
as
Let me get you a sugar
making
cookie.
a
Well, go
plan
buy
of
you a
what
sugar
does
cookie since you're
happiness look
rich.
like to you.
Like,
Where do you want to
your rich in
go?
life will always be
I
more
think,
important.
you know how we
Exactly.
make
Like Bob
budgets
Marley said, you know, the
of,
amount of money
okay, I
that you
can
make
spend
can
this much
never,
on
you know, make you
food, I
rich.
can
You know, if
spend
you're
this much.
rich
Why don't
in
we make a
life,
life
you're
budget?
gonna be richer than the richest
This is
man in the
what I
world.
want.
You
You
know.
know what I mean? This is what I
So
want my life to look
I
like.
never
I know that
felt like I
the
had to
girl that I
have
was telling
millions
you
and
about, the
millions of
case
dollars, because I
manager,
don't even know. I
who
can't even
told me that
fathom
she
what I
had to
would do with
moonlight
millions and millions of dollars.
as
Like,
a bartender.
I would literally just
She
go and
said
try to
that in
change
school
communities and open
she
up
wishes
schools,
that
and
they had a
you know, like
program that
LeBron. Like
said,
LeBron is open.
hey,
You know, he opened up
if
that
this is
school.
how
Like
you want to live
I
with
would
this
be
car
trying
and
to
this kind of
change
house,
entire
this
communities
is the
and give
job you need.
opportunities to people.
wow.
You know what I mean? Like
She said
open up
that would have
businesses and things
been
like that. So like,
such an
if I had
amazing
millions of
program.
dollars, I
She
would do
said, I
that.
had no
But
idea
I don't really
that I
need
had
all
to
that
have
for
this
just
type of
me.
job to
Like,
live this type of lifestyle.
I don't know, just never resonated
She
with
said
me.
that
I get high
somebody
on
needs to
life.
teach people,
I wouldn't
hey,
want
if you
millions.
want to
That's
live in
true.
this
I feel
house
like
and
it
you
would be
want
a
to
lot
drive
of
this
pressure
car,
coming with millions,
this
because
is
I would
probably
always
you
be
need to
scared
go
of
to school
losing
for
it.
this. You know what I
Like
mean?
that
Yeah.
pressure will
Or
always hit me
you
like, yo,
probably
like
want
I
to
can
live
make
in
one
this
wrong
neighborhood
move and
with
then my
this type
millions
of
is
car,
gone.
and you
That
gotta be
anxiety
okay
would
with
drive
where
me
you're at.
crazy.
You know what I mean? Or it's where I said where you get your 3 side hustles or your 2 side hustles. You give yourself you say, hey, I'm
Look,
going
all
to
I've
make
been thinking about.
5 to
Buy me
$7,000 on each one of these hustles.
baby.
Save
You
that
know
up
we
and
got
buy
that.
your car straight out. You know
Buy.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
you already
Being
know.
happy where you are on the drive, knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable. Make a
You
plan,
already
just like
know.
we have to have a map or a
Until they
GPS to
got
get to where
you.
we're going. Why
Look
don't
at
we
me.
use a
Yeah, yeah.
GPS
Look
or
at
a
me.
map and try to
Look at
plan
me.
out our
Come on
route in our
now. You already
life
know
to
y'all know what the
where
deal
we
is.
want to be? Because I
Yeah,
Bigger
think
house is
I got to
normally
go
think
through
just
life
more
like,
stuff you gotta clean. That's true.
I'm about to plan.
I don't really want no
how
huge
Hold
house all
on.
like that.
I'm about to plan. I
Ooh, I like
plan
that.
myself.
I like that book.
Yeah, it's
gotta
my
have a
planner.
plan. And it's
um,
beautiful.
Thank you. Somebody mentioned this is on Daquan's page, but Jessica said that what she sees people doing negatively with hustle culture is not educating people in the very lows of hustling on your own, which is what both of y'all have mentioned
Hmm.
before. Like that could lead into the whole misleading
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Um, so what dang, I just
What did she say? I'm sorry.
Oh, she said what she sees people doing negatively with hustle culture is not educating people properly on the highs and the very lows of hustling on your own. Sorry, hustling and
Okay,
owning
your
your own.
highs and
Yeah,
lows, the
Yeah.
highs and lows of hustling.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Which
pros and
goes
cons.
in which go Leah, like you said, the pros and cons. And I like how you said like it is every journey. And the the part yeah, I think it does just go back to knowing what you want to do and where you want to be,
And
and
where can you comfortably be?
unfortunately yes, and not letting that's what I was gonna say not
Kurt,
that can you hear me?
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, so I use this app. It's called Fabulous, and it's like a productivity tracker, but I shared some of this stuff with y'all, or like some of the little daily meditations or whatever quotes. But anyway, their mantra is tiny steps repeated regularly over time is the way that you get to where you want to go. And so I think like with the hustle culture, like we talked about with FOMO and comparison and everything like that, I also think a sense of like get rich quick is in there too. Like it's not only, hey, here's
Yes,
another
those
way
are
for you to
so
make money,
annoying.
Hmm.
but it's hey, happen in a week, in a month. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like there's an
Yes,
expectation that it's going to
yes,
happen quickly,
yes,
which
yes,
when it
yes.
doesn't, you fall back off. Now you've wasted your money when really if you like you were saying like look, just set realistic goals. Maybe your business or whatever your hustle isn't going to blow up in a year, but if you stay consistent and try to get one customer every month or however you want to break it down, just on small steps that you can repeat and you can stay consistent with, eventually you will get to where you want to go. Which is why Daquan, I asked you that question earlier, like, is it really a lie? Because I do believe the process of if you stay consistent with things and if you work on it, like eventually something will happen. But I also understand,
Something,
like, I
something,
also
but it
understand what
may not,
right, something, but it may not be what you thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
may
I
not
do
be at
agree.
2.5
I
million.
do agree with that. But that's why I myself acknowledge that I do work hard because I recognize that so like my hard work is typically with being like studious. I am I'm I study all day. Oh, I'm doing homework, typing on my computer. Like I'll be on the phone with mom, and all she hears is clickety click 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 because I'm
And
typing
I'll
a
be like,
paper.
I'm getting off the phone now.
Yeah, cause and she'll be like, so what would you do with the day? And I click 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 click, huh? Like and so like sometimes it's nice to have somebody there to talk to, but like I will zone out, I will get lost, and I'll because that's my hard work, that's my crack. I'm on it, and when I'm not
But
on
you,
it, I'm recognizing I should probably be on it because I have it ingrained in my brain that if I work hard enough, I will make honors college. I will graduate with honors. I'll be able to get a good
But you
job.
are
I'll
in
get
honors
recognized.
college.
But that's
So
the
your hard
thing.
work did pay
I
off.
believe it because I've done it. You know, I believe in the things that I
He's in
can.
honors college, guys.
I believe in the things that are tangible for me. So
Yeah,
I don't
4.0.
thank you. So
You got a 4.0.
I believe in the things that I feel are tangible. That I
Wait a
can
minute.
see.
Hold on.
Mm?
We're not going to just kind of gloss past the fact that you are a young man of color in college who's in honors college who just busted out a 4.0. We're not going to gloss over that. That's what we're
I
not
do be
gonna
glossing
do.
over. I mean, I be trying to like, okay,
4.0.
yay.
4.0. 4.0.
But so my thing is that like I recognize that I only achieved that was one of my goals. So it started small. It started with I want to get good grades. It started that small.
goal.
I was like, so I ended up with like a 3.5. And I was like, you know what? Now I want to make the dean's list. Got a 3.9. I was like, now I want to be 4.0. I want to be straight A's. Nothing but that. Boom, got that. Now
right.
I want to be in honors college. I'm in honors college
That's
now.
right.
Now I want to graduate with honors. You know, once I graduate with honors, I want to go back. I want to get multiple degrees. Then after that, I want to get a good job in the field that I have studied to be the best representative I can be at my job. So it's small goals that I've set, but they are tangible according to the position that I'm at. I didn't go and I wasn't struggling in school and flunking out of college saying I want to be a 4.0 student. I went from flunking out of college to establishing goals to myself that were tangible for me. And I think that that was the way that I took hustle culture and I manipulated it to work for me. I didn't use other people, and knowing that my sister Jasmine graduated from OSU with great grades and my sister Taye scored way higher than me on the ACT. I didn't look at that and be like, dang, like I'm messing up out here. It did affect me, but it was like these things aren't gonna work for me. And I noticed that they can do things that I might not be able to. Some people can go to school and work 40 hours a week and get 4.0. I can't do that. I can work part-time and focus and do that, but my brain won't operate that way. So some people are able to do things. That's why I say the definition of hard work is different. I'm able to go to work, then come home, do my schoolwork, and then go to the gym. But some people are like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So
Like that.
it's always different for everybody. So that leads me into a question for y'all, because I just wanted to explain a little bit about what hustle culture does mean. The fact that I myself do not want to be a hypocrite and say everybody's wrong because y'all do this with hustle culture and that. I'm in it too. I'm in it too, and I'm bad on myself about it. You know.
Hold on. Before you ask that question, before I forget, I want to say everybody's money ain't everybody's money. And what I mean by that is I wanted to piggyback off of what you just said, Daquan. Everybody's hustle looks different.
Yeah.
So when you see this app? You see this app? I just made $25,000 just now. You see it? Just now. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like
The app now is, you see this app? I just won $25,000 betting on the Cowboys. That's the apps now. I bet on the Cowboys. Deke Elliott, he did it. Like that's what it is now.
everybody's money is not everybody's money.
Yes.
And what I mean, that's what I said. People be like, teach me how to flip houses. My money might not be your money. You know what I mean? And that's what I was saying earlier, Daquan, when I was saying, if somebody stepped to me right now, I'll give you the greatest example. There's a girl that I know right now. She's a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and she does home health agencies. She does MRDD. She's got it going on, and she came from scratch. So she was on ADC.
How was
She
the
was a
vibe
public
dance
assistant,
practice, sir? It
and
was
now she's a
fun,
multi-millionaire.
Jisoo. I had such a
applaud
fun
her.
time. I
Let's
didn't end up
go,
getting on
sis.
stream until
Let's
midnight.
go. That's not my money.
I did
I
not
don't
like.
wanna
I was not supposed to
That's
be on
not
past like
something that I
10:30,
wanna own and
but I was
operate. Her
practicing
money
for.
ain't my
How
money.
long
I
were we
don't
doing
wanna
the
do
vibe
what she
practice? Were we
did
doing it for 2
because
hours?
I
Longer than 2
I
hours?
don't
We
want
were on
that
that. We were
smoke.
practicing for at least 2
You know
hours.
what I mean? Like like,
So we were just
I'm
practicing
proud of
running
you,
through it over and over and
but
over and over and
that's
over again.
her money. That's
Yeah,
her
right, I gotta
journey.
see that move
That
over and
was
over again.
her
So
trip.
lady
That
on
was
that.
what was in
Yeah.
her GPS.
I was feeling
You know what
pretty
I
good
mean?
about it
That's
though.
not
Like
my
we ended
GPS.
up
I'd
nailing
rather
it and
stay in
getting
my
it to where
income bracket.
I'm like, I know the
You know what I
steps
mean?
now. Like I
And
know the
not
steps, and
have
I'm very
that
happy about it.
that
Still don't
that
know what I want
hustle
for my
culture
life. I
of,
know I don't
oh
want
my
to
God,
disappoint
I
my
know how
parents.
she made
Well,
$1
that's
million.
good though,
I gotta
Jisoo.
go
I know
do
I
it.
don't
You
want to
know,
disappoint my
Yeah.
parents
like
either.
Yep.
You know,
everybody's money ain't
but I'm
everybody's
very
money.
thankful
So
for my
like what
parents because my
Daquan was
parents
saying,
always tell
you know
me
what I
that they're
mean?
very
I
thankful for
can't do
me and
what
that they're
Talia
proud
did.
of
I
me
can't do
no
what
matter what I
Jasmine did.
do. You know.
Even his cousin Darian and Aisha, they're both nurse
Yeah.
practitioners.
Yep.
And I tried to get him to go into the medical field, and he was like, and I'm like, because it's a secure job, you will be a male nurse practitioner, you
Mhm.
gonna make bank. He was like, I don't want to do it, Mom.
And guess what I
Their
did?
money,
I failed.
their money was not his money. You know what I mean? So and then I remember we flipped a house. We went, and I'm sorry, Daquan, for cutting you off. Don't forget
No,
the
you're
question
fine.
that you asked
I've been
now.
thinking about the question for a little while because I know that it's gonna lead us to wrap up. So
Yeah,
it's
because
it's
it's 8:45, we're gonna wrap up at 9. So what I wanted to say was, Candace, check this out. So Daquan had a house. Daquan, we flipped a house, and it was a smaller house. It was, what was it, Daquan? It was 3 bedrooms, but it was like a
yes,
ranch.
it was 3 bedrooms. It was smaller. It was had a fence around it. You walked up the steps to get
Had a
into
nice
it.
yard,
Very nice
and it
yard.
had a basement. It wasn't
Mhm.
finished. It was pretty much a ranch.
It was the basement where I painted the entire basement.
You
We
painted
painted
the
the
floor.
deck.
Yes,
No, that
you
was that
painted
the
the
same
deck.
house where we painted the
That's
deck.
the same house.
Okay,
That's
so
the
we
same
painted
house
the deck.
because
I painted the basement. I painted up the steps. I painted the
yes,
walls, and
yes, yes,
and so that I pretty much did the whole basement and the deck while they were doing the inside of the house.
yes. But you
And
painted the inside
I
too.
did paint the inside of
So
the house, but they were
this was
doing other
totally
stuff
family
like
business.
that.
Wow.
But the thing about it is, he said, "This is all I need right here."
Yeah, I really like that house.
He said,
It was
"This
so
is all I need."
cozy. It was so cozy. It was so comfortable. You walked in
And
it
I
and
think
it,
we
it
sold
felt
the house for
homey.
like one. I think we sold it
Hmm.
for like 139. You couldn't buy it now for 139.
No.
If we'd had the house now, it'd have been 209.
Yeah.
But I think we sold it for like 139.
Yeah,
Um,
Jisoo, it's okay
and he was just like, "This is
not
enough for
know
me."
what you want to do with
So
your
he
life.
would
A
be
lot of
okay with
people
where
around my
he's
age bracket
at.
don't know what they want
You
to
know
do.
what I mean?
I'm
Mhm.
He didn't
27
say, "Hey,
and
I
I
want a
just
house like
found out what I
Mom
wanted to
Pop."
do with my life.
Now, he
Like at
did
like
say that he
26,
wants epoxy
25.
everything. He said he epoxy in the whole.
Epoxy me right now. Epoxy me. I'm gonna be epoxy man.
But he didn't say I need $1 million house. And let me tell you something
It's just gonna
else,
look like
Candace.
it.
This dude had a BMW. He
Mercedes.
had a BMW coming out of high school, and then he had, but he used to save up. He worked. They was working since 15, and then he went and bought a Solstice. He wanted
Yes,
a Solstice so
a
bad.
Solstice.
He went out and bought a Solstice on his own.
Got a good deal on it too.
So he bought this Solstice. You know what he did? Girl, he sold the Solstice to get an HHR. You know why?
Mm.
Because he said it was more practical and it was better on gas.
It was good on gas.
So that's what I'm saying. He's okay with being where he's at. He don't need the BMW. Was like, I had the BMW. It was cool.
No,
You
it
know
was
what
a
I mean?
Mercedes. It was a Mercedes, ma. Remember
Mercedes. It
the
was a
SLK?
Mercedes.
Yep.
Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Candace.
You know I don't like BMWs.
But when we talking about this, people will be like, they're saying this stuff like it's nothing. We own a dealership, so we get
Mhm.
deals. You know what I mean? Like, these cars a lot of times are wrecked and he fixes them. Him and his dad fix
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? So
You know what's interesting
it's
about
not
that,
like
ma?
he was balling. No, these cars are. We're there at auctions getting the best deals.
You
So,
know what's interesting
know,
about that, ma, is that I paid the same price for my Mercedes as I did for my Solstice. So I had the Mercedes for a year and a half, paid $4,000 for it, $4,200. I sold it for $4,200, and so I kept it, had it, enjoyed it, rolled around in it, dropped the top, loved it, painted it. I had it. I experienced the car, and then I leveled up to the next car that was, my dream car at the time, and I paid $4,500 for that. So it was just me turning that money into the next car, And then what happened after I enjoyed it and had it, and it was time to move on to the next chapter. It was like, when I'm moving on and I'm gonna be traveling a lot, I can't keep putting all these miles on this Solstice. I want somebody else to have this car, because I believe that somebody should appreciate this car and not run the wheels off of it like I'm going to. So let me get somebody. And the person who came out and bought it was an old man, and he was buying it for his wife. It was her dream car, and she loved it. And she was like, "It's got the body kit on it." Oh, like, she loved it. So it felt good to give that to them, because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna take this money and I'm a pocket like 1,000, 1,500, and I'm gonna buy this HHR and I'm gonna be rolling. You know what I mean? And but
Practicality.
the thing about it was, like, and that was my explanation to mom, because we did have that conversation about how do you feel about downgrading this. But it was also the fact that it's like, my next dream car, I'm gonna have to really buckle down to get that Lotus. It ain't something that I can just run up and 4 bands ain't gonna get me no Lotus. So I'm cool with just doing what I'm doing right now. There are things that I want, but it's like, those are things that I feel like, if I get them, I get them, and if I don't, it's all good.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't
Exactly.
have to have them for me to be happy.
Yes,
You
you're
know,
okay where you're
I'm
at.
cool. So it's like, it's a weird balance, right? Because hustle culture for me, and this will lead right into my question for both of y'all, is hustle culture for me is like, it's giving me a proper balance of knowing that I'm not happy necessarily being complacent, because I still work hard to achieve things that I want and feel like are goals of mine. But there are things that I feel like, if I don't, there's still goals on there that if I don't get, ain't gonna make me unhappy. I'm still happy, and I'm happy during my journey of attaining my goals. I'm not unhappy because I haven't gotten my goal yet. I'm happy. I'm happy during the journey. I'm happy while I'm going to it, and I'm gonna be happy when I get
Regardless.
it, and happy getting the next one. So every time I take a step, I'm smiling while I'm walking. So it's
And
it's
he
something,
struggles.
yeah,
And
and it's
he struggles.
hard. It's
He
hard, and it's
struggles. I
scary.
wanted to be very clear on that. I
Yeah.
wanted to be clear on that because, and he was asked a question by a friend of his. He said, are you upset that your parents let you struggle? And the fact that they don't have to, but they let you struggle. There's a difference between us letting our son struggle and letting him fall.
Yeah.
Trust and believe he ain't gonna fall.
Yeah, they don't let me fall, but they do. Like, and that's the
And
thing.
he
That's the
gonna
weird
struggle.
thing about it, like, is that it's like, I know that I have a support system that I'm grateful for, because a lot of people don't have the kind of support system that I have. Come on, stop being blurry now. There we go. Hi.
I want to
Um,
bring that up as a different
yeah,
topic
it's
too,
it's
because
it's
I know
it's
people
yeah,
would
because it's different.
disagree
It's
with me.
Yeah, it's a
Because I've
different
heard
thing.
people say, white people usually send their kids to college and their kids don't have to struggle. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they take out second mortgiges and get second jobs to make
yeah.
sure that their kids
One
get
of my
their kids
commenters is
paid for
talking about
college.
that. Yeah, one of my
Yes.
commenters, Jisoo, Jisoo, are you from Korea? I believe. And his family is well off, and while he's in school, not only are they taking care of him, but they kind of breaking him off a little bit,
So,
But
but that's what
we
I'm
talk
saying.
about that,
So
and it's just the
I want to
differences.
bring that up as a different
It
topic
is
because
definitely a
Candace,
different
you would
topic.
be able to input with that very much so.
Hmm.
I would love to hear your opinion on that, Candace.
Hmm.
And I'd like for Josh to be on that one too, since he
Hmm.
was the one who kind of said that. Because
Oh, well, okay. I couldn't remember who was
and
the one who said it.
I think that it's different with me because I feel like, especially with a man, and I don't want to get into this gender roles. I feel like a struggle makes you sharper. You know what I mean? It kind of makes you appreciate the end journey more if
Hmm.
there's a little struggle there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're more proud when you get there because Daquan's went and given blood before. You know what I mean?
And I had
He's
a
like,
phobia of needles.
yeah, he went and
I
gave
had an
blood. He's
actual
just like,
phobia of
hey, I'm
needles.
gonna go get blood and get this couple extra $100.
Yeah.
Now if he says, "Hey mom, I need some food," use the Target card I gave you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Use the credit card I gave you. You know what I mean? Or here, I'm going to send you some money.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that he will make a way.
Yeah.
He will find a way to make it happen. And I feel like that's very imperative. But does that go against the hustle culture? Am I making him into a hustler? Because sometimes I feel like you have to for survival. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of know how to hustle.
But that that ties back into what we talked about before, because part of your nature is that y'all grew up in a society that y'all had to survive rather than thrive. So that's where the difference comes from, where people from my generation like Josh will look at that and be like,
We just wanna live.
we just want to live. So it's like, but you like, I want to make sure that you can survive no matter what. You know, you got to be able to do these things, because if I'm not here or if something bad happens, you got to be able to put your nose to the grindstone
That's
and
a
knuckle
very
up
powerful
and
important
get on
topic
it.
that we
You know,
discuss.
so we will go. We've talked about that, but we will revisit that topic. So, but before we drone on too long, I do want to ask y'all both the question that this is my final question before we give our final thoughts. I do want to ask y'all. It's kind of an elaborate question, so hopefully it's not too much. Do y'all think that we need hustle culture? Like, do y'all feel like the pros of hustle culture outweigh the cons of hustle culture? And do you feel like it is needed in our society? Or, you know, and like, where do you feel like we would be if we didn't have hustle culture? Do we feel like we'd be lazy? Do you feel like we'd be entitled, spoiled? So
Damn, that's a
it's
good
kind of like a
question.
3-part question, but it's
Man,
all
look, me and
encompassing.
Candace were like,
I
that's
didn't
a
want
good ass
to.
question.
That's kind of
So
why
I
I've
knew
been
it.
thinking about it for the last like 45 minutes, because I'm like, yo,
45 minutes.
that's why, like, I've had it in my head, because I knew, I'm like, it's such an elaborate question, and it's kind of so many parts, there's so many moving parts, that I want to ask y'all that when y'all have, you know, some time to really respond to it, because there's parts of it that you can respond to individually, you know. So I'll ask it again if y'all need me to, because like I said, I know it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, so do y'all feel like we need hustle culture? Where do y'all feel like we would be if we didn't have hustle culture? And do you feel like the pros of hustle culture outweigh the cons of hustle culture?
I think that, gosh, that's hard. I think that if we're not forced into a hustle, I think hustle culture without the mandate of hustle culture, without corporate America forcing us to be hustlers. I think hustling because we have no choice, because like I said, the medium average wage is 31,000.
Mhm.
The average wage in America is 31,000.
One of the
I
sacrifices
think
of
the
hustling,
hustle
for
culture
sure.
because of that is horrible. It's horrific. You know
Not
what I
gonna lie, I
mean?
was
But
worried for you for a bit. It made me
I
realize
think that
something very
that part
important.
of hustle
What,
culture
Nessa? What did it make you realize? I
is
know I'm behind
horrible.
on chat a little
You
bit.
know
I
what I
was trying to
mean?
ask that
It's
question.
horrible,
My
and
own
it
business,
shouldn't
doing
be.
everything
We
myself as
shouldn't
far
have
as
to
building my own
hustle
website and
just
everything.
to
I
freaking
have
eat.
days when
You
I
know what I
have to
mean?
make decisions
Just
to
to,
pay my bills
it's
at
like
time. That's
the
so
the
true,
part of
Jessica.
hustling
That's so
in order
true.
just to be able to F and live is sickening. But
Sorry
hustle
for a bit. I
culture
had to get
within
back to the books. I know,
itself,
Jisoo. I
the
know how it
hustle
is.
to the hustle without the ridicule,
Because my parents just tell me to do better,
the
even if I'm
hustle
top
because
5
you
in my
want
school,
to,
but it's
like you
not enough
said
for them.
earlier,
That's
Daquan,
true.
because
There's not
you
enough
don't want to
positive
be
reinforcement
you
on
don't
your
want to
end.
be stagnant because you desire to elevate.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the way that Candace hustled and the way that you are hustling now, Daquan, I think that Candace is the greatest example of hustling without, she had to at one point, but now she does it because she likes where she's going. She
Look,
likes
chick,
what it
hello.
feels like. She likes it now. So you get to,
I'm sorry.
something
Make
came
it
to my
sell
head. I'm just not
aromatherapy
gonna say it,
bath
but
products and all
I
natural,
think
no harsh chemicals such as
without
soap,
the
spatula.
mandate of it,
Oh
I
yeah,
think that hustle culture
the
is
Black Goddess. That's
absolutely
really cool, Jessica.
amazing,
I didn't know that.
and it could take you to
I did not know
amazing
that. That's
places
really
and make you
cool.
feel in
You
an
also make
amazing way.
candles.
But I also feel like it's extremely filled with anxiety
Yeah, I like
because I
that.
feel like I can't accomplish everything that I want
Japanese,
to
Korean.
in
Oh,
a
okay, cool.
lifetime.
I was close.
Um,
I was close.
and so yeah, I feel like
Mom's big on you. Must have a job at all times. Dreams and wants
more
aren't important, which is why it
yes
took so long to
than
start a business.
no that
That's so unfortunate
hustle
because that
culture
is really big
there's
in
more
our
pros
society.
to it than cons. The fact that we are in a country that we can hustle the way that we can is definitely a pro. And the fact that I came from, public assistance to where we are, is a testament to hustle culture being a good thing. So
Mhm.
I'm going to say hustle culture for what it is, for the desire of hustling, is absolutely just fantastic.
Mhm.
But hustling because you have to eat is horrible.
Mm.
So that's my answer.
Okay. What about you, Candy?
Yeah, I started off one way, but now I'm rethinking it because
Was it
I'm
after you
thinking of
heard mom's response, or you just
yeah.
rethought?
No, it was after Tasha's.
Oh, okay.
So because I was thinking about how we define hustle culture
Hmm.
in the beginning, and so what you just mentioned, Tasha, I think I'm having a difficult time separating hustle culture from like work. For instance, like you said, we shouldn't have to hustle to survive. Absolutely. I guess to answer the question, I don't think we need hustle culture. I think where we would be if we didn't have it, we would be, and the pros don't outweigh the cons. And
Mm.
this is why I
Okay.
say that because when I think of hustle culture, like we said, I associate that with exhaustion and stress and like urgency and maybe not desperation, but just like a
No,
deep desire
desperation
to make a
is
change
great.
quick. You know what I'm saying? Like something has to happen now. And none of that sounds like something that we need. So so when I think about working, right? Like you have to work to survive. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
But so that's where I'm like, okay, Tasha, yes. So I'm thinking if we took out hustle culture and we just had a world where we just worked, why what would be wrong with that? Like if we, and I know it would take a whole lot, of course,
Mhm.
like the corporations and the pay and
Mhm. Mhm.
capitalism and all of that stuff. But I'm just saying in a world, because to me hustle culture and capitalism go hand in hand.
They do. They do.
To me, in a world where that doesn't exist and there isn't a pressure um to work so much for something, we would rely on what we naturally want because we
Mm,
wouldn't have a hustle culture to influence that.
Right.
that's a
So it
great
would
answer.
literally come from what I mean, we're always influenced by our, environment, but
Mhm.
it would come from just, oh, I want to go work. Because I saw a post today and it said, would you flip burgers for $350,000 a year?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes. And so they was like, oh, you would? Okay. So it's not that people don't want to work, it's the pay.
Right.
And so and so I thought about that. I'm like, okay, so if we didn't have hustle culture, it's not that people wouldn't work. We want something to do. We like to be active. It's just how we want to work. I want to work, but if I had to choose between working like dancing all day and that's my job or doing something else, I would choose the dancing. You know what I'm saying? But it's still work. You're
Mhm.
still active. You're still being productive. You're still doing things, but it's not so, conflated in all of these other responsibilities and pressures and ideas. It's literally just what you want to do to survive. To
That's
me, that
true.
sounds like a fairy
Mhm.
tale world, but that's my
No,
answer.
I
Like
think that it was
okay.
I think it was an amazing answer. Daquan, I'm not gonna hold it up because I know that we're ending right now and I want your
No,
answer.
you're fine. You're fine. I did want to piggyback off of something that Candy did
That she
say.
said, but I'm
Um,
gonna piggyback
I
really
figured you
quick.
probably did want to as well, because she did
No,
make
mine
very
is
good points.
really, believe it or not, mine is really quick. Candace, I think that what your point is, and I have to. Daquan often tells me everybody doesn't think like you because
Mhm.
you know what I mean. And so I always love for my mind to be challenged. I love these dialogues because I like to shift. I like to learn. I like to grow. I like to see different perspectives and feel different perspectives. And sometimes, like Daquan told me earlier, I often forget that I don't have a job and I haven't punched a time clock in a long time. So your answer, so someone who punches a time clock is going to be totally different than mine when it comes to what hustle looks like,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
your hustle is, and a lot of people's hustle is their 9 to 5. So that was an excellent point, Candace, because it's just like most people's hustle is their job, which is to live. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was an excellent, excellent point that I didn't think of because, duh, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because I'm like, you got to eat if you don't hustle. And you're like, yeah, that's called a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the different perspectives.
Yes.
Yeah,
which
I love
that
that.
I,
Thank
I
you so
really
much
I
for
really
saying
like
that.
both of y'all's answers. Like I really do, because I had an idea how mom would feel because I know how she feels about hustling, and I know how she feels and how she admires people who hustle and who are transparent about their hustle, and about their grind and their story. And I am too. I think we all love and appreciate somebody who is open about their struggles and their grind
Ups
and their
and
hard
downs.
work, their ups and downs of their success that they've achieved. But something I did want to touch on with what you said, Candy, is like a big part of why I personally feel like I don't think we need hustle culture, nor do I feel like the pros outweigh the cons, is because I think that as most things that humans get, that's a good thing. Because I do think hustle culture is a good thing. It could have been a good thing, but we suck so hard that we can't ever have nice
Let it
things.
be.
You know what I mean? Like we can't have nothing. We couldn't just enjoy being like, hey man, I see you working hard. I like that. I'm rocking with you. A matter of fact, you inspire me to work a little bit harder so I can get some extra pay. No, it's, oh, you got a nice car. I gotta get a nicer car and go into debt because I hate that. You know what I mean? But the real thing that I really want to touch on about something that you said about the work, right, is a big part of hustle culture that is so damaging for us is because we have to get some sort of fulfillment out of the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
Whether it is financial fulfillment, or emotional, fulfillment. And if we're doing a job that we hate, but we're getting paid enough, we're at least getting fulfilled financially, so we don't have to worry about if we're going to be able to put food on the table. But for a lot of us living right now, we are doing jobs that are both financially unfulfilling and mentally abusive. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So we are not getting no fulfillment. We aren't getting the
Wow.
pay we deserve, and we are not getting any kind of emotional fulfillment or recognition from the jobs we're doing. And not only are we not getting none of the fulfillment that we require from jobs, which is making us depressed, we are being shamed
Damn.
about being depressed, about not enjoying the lack of fulfillment at our jobs.
Damn.
So that's
Wow.
what we did with hustle culture.
And the income that they paying you.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's that is why we can't have nice things, and that's why I say, like, I want to touch off that, because it goes right into why I feel like since we don't know how to appreciate what hustling can do and how it can benefit us and how we can achieve greater by hustling, we shouldn't have it. Like most nice things, if we don't know how to handle it and we don't know how to do good by it, we don't deserve it. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked y'all that question, because I already kind of had my mind made up, but I was curious to see after this conversation where both of your heads would be at the end of it. But yeah, so that's pretty much my final thoughts about it. If y'all have any final thoughts, go ahead. No, because do you feel after hearing our perspectives on this, Ma, do you feel any sort of change on your initial answer to my questions, or do you still stand by what you feel, which is perfectly reasonable, but do you feel like you have a little more understanding of where we're coming from when we say that?
Okay, so I want to listen.
And give your final thoughts while you're doing it.
Okay, so thank you everybody so much for joining us. This has been, because I was like, I don't know where we're going with this, but I actually loved where we took
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
loved where we took it. It was like a journey. It was almost like therapeutic to talk about this. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah, this was great.
The topic meant something. I feel lifted. I feel good after discussing this, especially since we all had kind of varying opinions on it. You know what I mean? Like, and just, I loved it. So I still feel the same. But with Candace, what you said about would you flip burgers?
It's always positive and negative. Everything. Absolutely.
I would for
Yin and
you,
yang.
and then
Jisoo.
I would
Like, I'm a
take that
big
money and
believer
then I
in
would
yin and
go
yang. It's
hustle.
balance. You're ignorant.
Born to hustle.
Right.
And so listen,
That's
did you hear that,
ignorant.
Daquan?
What'd you say?
Did you hear what I said?
What'd you say?
I told
Let me hear.
because remember she said that there was, would you flip burgers for 350,000? We were
Mhm.
saying it's not the money, it's what you do, right?
Right, right.
And so I said I would flip the burgers for 350,000 for 1 year. I would quit and then I would go hustle with it.
But that's because you aren't fulfilled by flipping burgers. You would take that money that you made and you would go do something that, because that job was financially fulfilling, and you will go do something that is mentally and emotionally fulfilling for you with the money that you did. So that hustle is what I'm advocating for, but we can't have that. The whole premise
Yeah.
behind that is us getting paid so we can be financially fulfilled by our jobs, but we don't have that. So that's why it's a no-go. You know what I mean? The whole
I
premise
agree.
is no.
I want to say that I'm very I've been very blessed by the universe but the way that we've come to be where we are
I learned a lot.
is
Thank you. I'm
through
still a
our
little
hustle
confused,
and
but
through
I
our
understand a little
grind
bit more.
and
Well,
through
Jisoo, if you
our
have any questions
desire
about
to
what
do
we were
more
talking
and
about
be
today,
more and
please
make
feel free to
more.
ask those
And
questions
we
in the
wanted to
chat,
make more
and I'll
just so
try
we
to
could.
elaborate a
We
little
wanted to
further on them.
buy our
Sometimes
own
it's a little
home and
hard
we
to go
wanted to
back and
pay
forth
our own
between
home
chat
off. We
and
wanted to own
my
our
discussion
cars.
with
We didn't want
them.
to make
So
car
if
payments
I
because we want to
I wasn't
have
able
the
to
least
fully
amount of
thoroughly
bills that we
reply to something
possibly
that you
can.
had a question
So
about,
then that way
then
we
feel
don't
free
have
to
to
ask
hustle and grind
questions.
as
Like
much.
I
So
implore
that's why
you
we
to
hustle and
ask
grind
questions,
it and
so
so much is
I
so
can
we can
give you
have
my
everything
perspective
paid
on
off
them.
so we can have zero debt, no credit cards. You know what I mean? Like we wanted our debt to be low. So I want to be very careful of how I speak because we are very fortunate, but we are fortunate. The universe made it possible because of our hard work. And so don't I feel kind of sucky and pissy, but I just because I feel I don't want to sound entitled, but I don't know. I feel bad a little bit because
Why?
because
Look, me and
hustling
Candace
has
asking the same. Like, why? Why do you feel bad?
hustling put us in a position to where I don't know, I just believe in hustling. You know what I mean? Like, but I know that everybody, it's not for everybody. It totally is not. I swear. I'm gonna do a whole show about the ups and downs of hustling because sometimes it sucks like hell. And sometimes you're poor as hell. And sometimes you're not. You know what I mean?
But
So
you know that we both do agree with the premise of hustling, but my question
you think that the culture would be better
without it.
if okay.
Yes, because I
So
feel like that's why I asked that follow-up question, do the pros outweigh the cons? Because I know that all three of us do recognize that we all benefit and have benefited from the pros of hustling. And we do believe in our own hustle because we believe in our own potential. And that's a byproduct of hustle culture is believing in yourself. So we can take the positives from hustle culture and we can manipulate them for our benefit. But when I ask that question, I think because of me and Candace's interpretation of that, we feel like as an overall narrative of hustle culture, do we feel like life would be better for society with or without hustle culture? And that's where we come to the ending of
okay.
we think that it's more harmful than it is beneficial.
Okay. Okay, I would have to agree. I'll have to be leaning towards you guys' side because they've got these bet kings and all of these betting things to try to
Yeah.
make people make
DraftKings.
money and
Lose money
you know
right
what I mean?
now.
So yeah, so I kind of agree that through the mental stress and through the corporate I hate to use the word, but the corporate rape of
Oh, I
Americans,
mean,
you
yeah,
know what I
the
mean?
predation is
Um,
bad.
yeah, I think that with those two things, and then feeling less than
Camera.
if you don't hustle enough, I would have to agree with you guys that it would be. And isn't that something how I shifted? I think that it would be better. And I'm not shifting
You're
because I
right.
feel like no, but I kind
Join
of agree
me.
because if you think about all of the negatives, the only positive there is that there's success stories from it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
But the negatives is that people are feeling burnt out, depressed, suicidal, just
Hmm.
homicidal. You know what I mean? So absolutely, I agree with you guys that
Hmm.
it's probably
I have
worse.
something
Yeah,
to add
well,
on that.
Candy, we were gonna go straight to you so you can give your
I
opinion
don't
and
want to
any
start
follow up.
nothing, but
Well, no, like just
yeah,
follow
but
up and give your final
um,
thoughts and everything. You know.
so when you said that about the success story, like, is it really success? Because think about, I'm not laughing at the outcome, but I'm thinking about like how the success stories, how they're still traumatized, they're depressed, they're not happy, they're not satisfied. They're taking themselves out the game,
Yeah.
even though they have a success story. So like, is it really, it goes back to the whole facade, snake oil thing.
Yep.
That
And
part.
also figuring out what works for you,
Mhm.
because when you try to chase somebody else's dreams, you end up getting lost and you're like, what the heck happened?
Yep.
So
Everybody's
I
money
guess
ain't your money.
Yep.
exactly. But you know what's crazy? But you can get lost chasing your own dreams.
Mhm.
But I
She
guess
said hello.
my final thought, my final thought would be, yes, I definitely see the pros in hustle culture. Like, then the negative side for me is the stress, etc. And I think I liked what both of you said about really focusing on like changing your perception and just being grateful and being happy where you are. So Daquan, when you said that, and I was like, always hear that, enjoying the journey, and I'm just like, you kidding me right now?
Yeah, yeah. It's hard
Like,
out here. Like I'm hungry right
I
now.
know, like what? And
I'm
so,
hungry. I'm hungry.
you said I'm hungry.
That's
I
what
know.
it
So
is.
it's like it's kind of like insulting at this. Like, I'm okay. I'm supposed to be happy, but
Mhm.
I'm broke and I can't pay my bills. Like, what are you talking about?
Damn.
I think
Yeah. Well,
like,
I can sound like an asshole. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like that to me, because we're not getting rid of hustle culture. To me, that is the work of how to combat it, like you were saying earlier, Tasha. So I think it just ends up being like a lot of internal reflection, figuring out who you are, and then changing your environment, right? Because hustle culture is we get it from our environment.
Mhm.
So talking to people who like you guys, like we're you're on the same page, so you don't feel that pressure as much
Yeah.
because you're around people who understand that you don't have to work yourself to death and you are okay where you are.
I don't know what to
And if
ask,
you
honestly,
you can
since I
have
really
a
haven't worked
goal,
like you or the other
but if
ladies.
it takes you
Well,
10
I
steps
mean,
to get
even if
there,
you
that's
have questions
fine.
about just what it
Even
means
if it
to
took them
work a
5, if
40-hour
it
work week
takes
or
you
anything like that,
10,
like
it is
it
okay.
maybe
And
it
I
can
think
be
that's such
overwhelming
a
because this
whole
is a
I think
broad
that's such a
topic and there
difficult
are a lot of
concept
things
to
that fall
grasp
into it, you
because
know.
we
So
we
even
we
if you can't
speak,
think of
we
questions now,
believe in
you think of
ourselves, like
questions later
Daquan was
on,
saying,
you know,
like
like I
we
said,
know what we
feel
can
free
do
to
and we
ask them
want to think
because
that we can do such great
it's
things.
a very deep
When
topic
we
and there's
don't
a
get there, it's
lot
like a
to
constant
it.
disappointment.
So
So
from your
it's a
perspective,
lot
I'm
of
sure
like
that there's tons of questions that
mental,
you can have,
strength going
and it
on,
can
and
probably
then
be a
your
little overwhelming because
environment.
you may
But
not know what to even ask. Like,
ultimately,
man,
I
like where do
think
we even
when we
begin?
talk
You
about hustle
know?
culture, I do believe in working hard for what you want and having goals, because I think that ultimately keeps us alive. And even when we do go through crap and maybe we have hustled, like at the end of it, there is some pride in that. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'm tough. Like I've been through that. Like I've been to the bottom, I've been to the top, I've been to the middle, like, like, and I'm still here. I've survived, I've made it. So it kind of gives you a little more resilience too. Like I think Tasha, you were talking like some grit. Like, okay, if I gotta go back to ramen noodles, I've been here before, and I can work I can work back up. So I think that is also a good side of it, but ultimately just no pressure, no stress, like
Yeah.
just focus on
You
you,
don't care
be
where you're at.
happy, like be as grateful as you can be, because tomorrow is not promised and this moment could be the only moment that you have. And
Yeah.
so it's best to just be happy with it.
Yeah.
And I say that knowing full well that I don't practice that all the
Yeah, I do, and I'll touch on one last thing. I know I'm sorry, but yeah,
You never made your final point.
well,
time. Yeah.
I completely agree with what you're saying because I feel like I do understand like that feeling of feeling almost insulted when people tell you to be happy with where you are and like just but like that was because, in my early adulthood, like in my early 20s, I was just so critical of myself and ashamed of where I was and what I hadn't achieved that I didn't look at the things that I had achieved. So it was hard for me to be like happy with myself because I'm like, I haven't done enough. I haven't done anything because I have so many
Mm,
things I have left to do and only a
great
few
point.
things that I have done. So
Great
that's why
point.
I'm not happy. So when you tell me to be happy, I'm mad at you because I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to be happy? You don't know what else I have to do in order to
Great
get
point.
my goals. So I
Great point.
completely get where you're coming from when you say that because
Great point.
I've been there and I had to once again, you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I changed my perspective and it
Say it
changed
again.
everything. When you change the way
Say it
you
again.
look at things, the things you look at change. So I changed my perspective on the things I did, on the things I accomplished in my life, and I was like, you know what? I have worked hard and I have done a lot, and
Yes.
I'm very proud of myself for the things that I have done, and I'm proud of myself for not giving up on the things that I want to do. So I stopped
Yes.
being so hard on myself, but still. And the weird thing about it is when I stopped being so hard on myself, it actually gave me
It
instead
becomes
of
easier.
and not only that, but it instead of turning the goals that I had into a pressure of I have to do this, it became not only do I want to do this, but I'm more determined to do it. And it was a
Mm-hmm.
interesting, just change of perspective. But there was also another thing that you touched on where it was like, I think there is a huge difference, and it is internally just all the way tied into hustle culture, where there's a difference between working hard for the things that you want versus working hard for the things that you need. And I think
Ooh.
that that's where we're at right now.
Mm.
Wow.
We're at a place where we are working hard to get the things that we need to
We
survive
want. Oh, need.
instead
Okay.
of working hard for the things that we want in our future and things that aren't
Yeah.
necessarily like,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
deep. There's a difference.
huge, and it's like we don't need these things, we don't have to have these things, but we want them. They're goals. I want that new car, but now we're in
Yes.
a
So
position where
working
we're
from
working
the level
hard
from.
just to get
Yes.
a car.
Yes.
So
Damn.
I think that
Mhm.
that's why
It
once
is a
again
different type of
I
life.
think
It
it's
is.
just a different type of thing, and that's why it ties back once again to where the whole
Mm.
centralized idea of hustle culture I feel like is harmful because we tell people you have to work hard for everything, and I do not agree with that. I feel like if you are
Everything.
working, you should be able to afford to provide for yourself and your loved ones, because you're doing what we have decided is in our social construct. You have to participate in society. You have to contribute and
Contribute.
work and give and play your role. And when you're doing
Mm.
that, your reward is to be able to live here and afford the things that you need. But we took
I
that and
like
we
that.
said, now,
Yes.
oh no, none of that. In order just to live here, this is the things that you working hard for, is just to live here. And
The
matter of
price
fact,
went up.
it's a privilege. You better be thankful
And then
that
you
we
can't.
allowing you to
And
live
then you
here.
can't.
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
then you can't do it until you're 65,
yeah,
68, 70. Then they're like, okay, you're done.
yeah.
I
Go
Then they
enjoy
write
your
you
life.
off. You
Yeah,
done at that
yeah,
point.
yeah. You'll be lucky to
We
live that
done
I'm
long.
like, now I'm
we
on
done worked you to the
AARP.
bone,
Yep.
and now we gonna throw you
And
away.
we've
We're
used
gonna
you
throw
for
you
every
away.
bit that you're worth. Yeah. So
Yep.
I think that's just like, as far as it is for me, like the entirety of hustle culture is, it's more harm than it's worth. It's not
Okay.
worth what
Yeah.
what we have
Yeah.
done to each
Absolutely.
other
I would agree.
with it. And I do think that if we're going to keep having hustle culture, we're gonna have to turn it into where we tell each other and tell people who are going through things that we're going through, that hustle culture doesn't have to mean to you what it means to society, and that you can be a hustler, but it doesn't mean that you have to go and break your back for this person to be able to buy that Jaguar and put yourself in debt. It can just mean that you can go and work at this job and work hard on your dreams in the meantime and afford to live and be a hustler in the things that bring you joy. I'm a hustler when it comes to fishing. I will get out there because it brings me joy. I'm a hustler when it comes to dancing. I'm going to find a way. I'm a hustler when it comes to going to the gym. I'm going to find a way. I work out with one dumbbell at home, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, you have to tell people, you have to be there to tell people that hustle culture doesn't have to mean what we've been told that it means. And yeah, so that's my final thoughts, and I'm gonna leave it off with that.
And we're about to leave. Thank you. Make sure you join me, the Tasha Neal Show. Candace.
Hey, yes. You can check out my work on Candy Rain Productions on YouTube
What's
and
your
Instagram.
show? You got a show. It's called.
Yes, you can check out. Thank you. Yes, you can check out my web series, The Inner Circle, on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.
And Facebook,
Yes.
yeah. And yeah, so IMG's Day Day. You can catch me on YouTube. That's primarily where I'm at. I do a lot of controversial topics. So you know, I do everything over here on G's Day Day channel. If you want to come over here and chop it up on the live, we talk about everything. From the Confederate flag to cancel culture to wokeism to critical race theory. We got topics all like that we discuss, and we do political commentaries, all that kind of
Which we'll
stuff.
start moving.
You know.
We'll start moving into that direction here.
Well, we can
shortly,
always
but
just have a show about one of those topics and things like that. But
yeah,
you already
yeah,
know that's my stilo. So I'm like, you
yeah.
shut up. I'm gonna tell you about critical race theory. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's just I get a little I get a little antsy when it comes to my
Yeah,
political
you
commentaries.
turn into me.
I do. I'll be like, now listen, I'm gonna tell you. You know.
So before we go, I just wanted to say really quickly, when we say be happy where you're at, some of my fondest memories was at my aunt's house, which is my little cousin, sister, best friend. Her mother was from humble. They lived in very humble beginnings. They had very humble
It
household.
worked until he passed.
But
He had
when I
lots of
tell
health
you there
issues and
was,
still worked. He didn't believe in
when I
retirement
tell
because he
you
knew
you
there
walk
would
into
be
there
bills to pay.
and
That's
my aunt
true.
would decorate
That's
the hell out
true.
of the house.
That's very true.
She would go to a thrift store
And that's
and
an
find a
unfortunate part about it
fireplace,
is that he
a
felt like
water
he couldn't
fountain,
retire
and
and
put
live.
Christmas lights.
Of course, Jessica. Of course.
We made
She
it
would have
work, man.
diamond statues, and you'd be like, "Where you get that at thrift store?" You know what I mean?
Look,
Like,
somebody
she
had
was
to tell me we didn't have money. I was like, what?
listen. You would have thought that she was rich because she made it work where she was at. You walk into her house and think that she had more money than people who had money because the way she made it look. You know what I mean? And a lot of stuff she got from discounts, thrift stores, you know what I mean? And she made it work. And so that's what I'm saying. You could still look like $1 million on a budget. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to put that out there. Like, you know, you could look like $1 million on a budget. Appreciate where you're at. I love what you said, Daquan, about hell, I'm trying to eat, so don't tell me to be happy where I'm at. F you.
Right. I'm
Love
hungry.
you guys.
Right.
I'll see you next
Love
week.
y'all.
Love you.
We might do something a little bit more controversial. I don't know. I kind of like where we're going right now.
We always listen. We might have to do. I like Candace. I don't know what you did with the little roulette thing, but we might have to just do that.
Love
We'll
that.
pop up little things because that's where hustle culture came from. Is it came from the little roulette spinning and it popped on that, and we was like, hey, I guess that's what it is. So we might have to do another one of them
Just get it
things and do
done.
the little roulette thing. Because we got a
Yeah.
lot of topics that we be throwing out that we can always talk about. So, you know,
Now I know that people. I
And
know
we
that
like
mine
the
was around.
comments.
I'm sure you guys didn't stay with me for a whole 2.5 hours, but I'm sure I had people coming and going. I couldn't see any of you guys' comments. I don't know why. But
Aw.
thanks for joining me. I'm sorry. You see, I didn't say anybody's comments. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. But
I would have got on Facebook.
yeah, so I apologize for that, guys. I will go back and read my comments and respond to everybody, I promise. And make sure you guys join us next week, and we'll let you know what the topic is probably the day before.
and if you
All
want
right.
to, like we can do another live at some point. Candace, if you're even down, we can do a live where we're
Mhm.
just responding to all those comments because I know you get a lot of comments. And a
Oh.
lot of those comments do require like thorough responses and explanations. So if you do have like 90 comments or something like that, and you kind of just want to do a little quick live for like 45 minutes, an hour, just going over those comments and responding to them, just so they feel like we got back to them. We can do something like that.
No,
But
because I know my people are like, I'm talking to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because my people be having stuff to say.
They do. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to be able to respond back because they'll respond with some deep questions. And I've been interacting with my chat and things like that. So I didn't know that you couldn't see your comments. I just thought that we weren't doing the responses this time. So
No,
but yeah,
no.
sorry guys if we didn't respond to you.
Yes, but we will next week. And I think also it might be the topic. I'm glad that we talked about it because sometimes, like Candace said, just collectively getting with people that you think like and just talking
Yeah.
is therapy and it's uplifting and it's motivational and it just makes you feel good. So,
Yeah.
even if only one person was watching, I still got a lot from being with you guys. So, this was
Yeah.
this was beautiful for me. I love talking to you guys. You're my best friends.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you, mama. Love you,
Love
Candace.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. All right. Yeah. I mean, thank y'all so much. Y'all rode with me. You know, it's been a good one. I didn't intend on having a very long stream or anything like that. I will be taking this and making this a video because this is something that I really do want to talk about further in greater detail. I did want to do a video on Nobody Wants to Work Anymore, but I think that that's going to be a podcast episode, and if it isn't, I will do my own show on it because it is a video that I want to talk about, and I want to discuss like some of the god dang, my camera is so cockeyed. I have to fix this. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I know this thing has just been a absolute mess. Like, I'll have to just raise it up a little higher. It'll just have to be up here like that. You know, maybe it won't slide around as much. Maybe it was too tilted down. I don't know. And it's like crooked and cockeyed. It's so annoying. But yeah, thank y'all for hanging out with me. Thank y'all for just chilling and responding and having your comments and sharing your thoughts with me. I won't be on tomorrow because it's not a scheduled stream day and I have a lot of homework that I have to do. I will be here Sunday. I printed out the pictures for the coloring stream. So we will be doing our coloring stream on Sunday. I probably won't go live until about 7 o'clock though, because like I said, I do have a lot of homework and I want to make sure I give myself plenty of time to do it. So all day Saturday and pretty much the majority of the early part of Sunday is just gonna be all homework, all time, just buckling down. I have so much that I have to do and a lot that I have to catch up on. So I just want to make sure I give myself enough time to do that without overwhelming myself. I have some homework that I have to do on Monday as well. But once I'm past this like kind of hump and once I get caught up, I'm a little behind because I was sick, so I didn't really get to do enough homework. So yeah, once I'm done with all that, I will be cool. But yeah, I appreciate all of y'all for rocking with me and hanging with me. It was today's conversation was so much fun. It was so good. This was like I said, I've had a lot of podcast episodes I've enjoyed. This was one of my favorites. So yeah, thank y'all again for rocking with me. If y'all have any questions or anything like that, you know, post them in the comments or send them to me. You can direct message me on here or comment on one of my posts or anything like that. I'm supposed to be studying, but I took a break. Hey, listen, Jisoo, there's nothing. Goodness, there's nothing wrong with taking a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break, giving yourself a breather, giving yourself some mental rest and just things like that, because the whole thing is that if you study and you don't give yourself a break mentally, you're going to run yourself ragged and you're not going to give yourself the time that you need to do better in academics. So once again, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be recording at all tomorrow. It just really depends on how much I'm able to get done. I do want to record videos, but I don't know if I have the time. So hopefully I can get some done Sunday. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, coloring live stream will be Sunday. I don't know how long we're gonna go, but yeah, we're definitely scheduled. So we'll look at the pictures that I printed out. I printed them out of school. I got them all, and we'll look at the ones that we want to do, that we want to color, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So once again, thank y'all. Love y'all so much. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. And I hope y'all have a great day, a wonderful day, and get some rest, y'all. You know, take it easy. Be good people. You know. Let me close this out. Take it easy, y'all.